The following is a live presentation of CBC Sports.
It's the day before Halloween. Are the Black Cats of Hamilton still plagued with bad luck? Away, beast! 4 times in the past 5 games, they've blown big leads, self-destructing in the 4th quarter. Home field, a house of horrors.
Alive! It's alive!
The Black Cats find new life against Calgary, saved by the bell that never wins. But the spell is cast again. The very next week, another big lead against Winnipeg turns into a monster bash. In Calgary, the football is supernatural. Flutie to Pitts does the trick. First place is the treat. But in the West, first has been a curse 7 of the past 10 years. So who gets spooked today? Calgary, the Stampede City, home of the most successful CFL franchise of the 90s. The Stampeders with 63 wins in this decade, and they're out to exact a measure of revenge against the lowly Tiger Cats, the only team in the East to beat them this year. Good afternoon and welcome to McMahon Stadium. I'm Mark Lee. Well, it was 2 weeks ago at Ivor Wynn when the Ticats upset the Stampeders 27-24. That's the only time in the past 5 games the Cats have been able to hold a lead. They have 4 wins, 12 losses, but they still have a shot at the playoffs. If they win today, they move 2 points ahead of Ottawa for that 4th and final playoff berth. Remember, a tie goes to Ottawa. In the West, the Stampeders learned yesterday they'll play Saskatchewan in the semifinals. Saskatchewan clinching 4th with a win over Ottawa. Sacramento eliminated by losing to Edmonton. Well, the Stampeders have a whole slew of records up for grabs at stake in this football game, most notably wide receiver slot back Alan Pitts. Pitts needs just 5 catches to tie the CFL record of 118. He holds that mark. 1 tie, 1 TD to tie the league mark of 20. 150 yards will tie him with Terry Greer for the CFL record of 2,003 yards in a single season. There are other reasons why the Stamps are going with their first stringers in a game that doesn't mean that much in the standings. And for more on that, let's go to the broadcast booth and welcome Chris and Dan.
Thanks, Mark. Good afternoon, everybody. In honor of Halloween, Kemp, I was going to dress up like the old linebacker number 42, but I couldn't get my fingers to look that mangled.
Well, I'll be glad to help you with that if you don't mind.
No, it's okay. Listen, Calgary thought they were shortchanged a couple of weeks ago by 1 second. They get 60 minutes to redeem themselves against Hamilton today. How much do you think the loss stuck in their craw?
Well, I think it's stuck right in the middle of their throats right there. That's the game that they're supposed to win, and they got it. They went in there very confident they were going to win it, came away with a loss. So they want to prove a couple of things. One, that Hamilton doesn't deserve to be on the field with them at this point in time of the season. And the other thing, they're going out there, they have some personal records that they're shooting for, but also, and more importantly, Hamilton happens to be a team that's on the way to the Grey Cup, and that's where they want to be, focused on the Grey Cup.
Mark mentioned most of the starters will play for Calgary today, including Doug Flutie. Some might say, why not rest him at this point of the season so he's 100% for the playoffs?
Some might say, why rest him? Get him out there, get him ready to play. He's the guy that's going to be the general out there running the show, and he has to be able to play 60 minutes. And if Doug Flutie's on the field, Calgary has a better chance to win.
Interesting stat, Don Southern is 4-1 against Doug Flutie as a coach.
Well, he thinks he's got a reason that he can defend Doug Flutie pretty well. I think he is. He's had some success. He's got some guys that can really do the job for him. Tim Cofield, second leading sacker in the CFL coming into this game, will be very instrumental in putting some pressure. And John Moden, a new addition to the lineup, was not on the lineup on Hamilton's team last 2 weeks ago when they did have that victory.
Hamilton, one of only 3 teams that have beaten Calgary in the past 2 years. Mark?
Chris, cool, blustery weather moving into the foothills. It's 5 degrees, strong winds from the west, and believe it or not, a hint of snow in the air. Coming up on Live at the Half, a CFL record that stood for nearly 20 years falls in Baltimore. We'll have that story and the CFL House of Horrors, the most frightful football of the season. The kickoff, the Stamps, and the Black Cats when we come back.
Test, 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 test.
Stampeder Radio, QR 77.
I'll ask you about the
Calgary
rip. Again.
Stampeders will kick off today's football game.
No, I
Each
won't.
for the Tiger Cats, number 5, Joe Campbell, and number 83, Calvin Meade.
We got Means and Welcome back to McMahon Stadium for the second last regular season game for Don Southern and Wally Buono. Feels like playoff weather. Don Southern's team trying to confirm a playoff reservation. They have to win at least one and maybe 2 games to head into the postseason, while Wally Buono's team knows it will play Saskatchewan 2 weeks from today here at McMahon Stadium. Getting set for the second meeting of the year, and in 3 weeks between these two teams as Mark McLaughlin kicks it off. Kelvin Means and Joe Campbell are deep, and it will be Means at his 20-yard line. And Kelvin Means works his way out to the 43, where Hamilton will put the ball in play offensively. A 23-yard return for Means. Reggie Slack knocked out of the game last week against Winnipeg in the 4th quarter with a concussion, but Slack back in today, and he really has turned the Hamilton offense around.
He certainly has. He brings a lot of composure, a lot of confidence to this offense. He's very productive, gets the job done. Guys are very disciplined when they're out there in the huddle with Reggie Slack.
And Joe Campbell is the running back today, the quick hitter to Earl Winfield, a starring role 2 weeks ago against Calgary. Alondra Johnson with the tackle, but Winfield was the man 2 weeks ago. 6 catches, 122 yards. He was matched up against Doug Kraft and had a big game against Kraft.
And then this time they bring him up and throw him on the other side. They're going to put him one-on-one against Junior Thurman, throw the hitch screen to him. They want to highlight this guy. They get guys concentrating on big play people like Earl Winfield. It may open up this whole offense for Reggie Slack.
Outstanding player nominee from Hamilton, Earl Winfield, a 13-yard gain and a first down, and Slack back to pass again, in trouble, and Reggie Slack is down back at the 40 by Stu Laird, his 8th sack of the year. And some in Calgary think Stu Laird is having his best season in this, his 11th in the CFL.
This Calgary front four is playing so well as a unit. Unselfish defense, guys that are getting all up in there. Streckles Izakovic is in there to put the heat on. Gets Reggie Slack to bail out, and then all of a sudden a very disciplined and very strong pass rusher got upfield in Stu Laird for his, as you said, 8th sack of the season.
54th sack of the year for Calgary. They lead in that department. Early movement on the line. And it's Marvin Pope, the middle linebacker, jumped early. It was 2nd and 25, but unless Pope was drawn offside, it will be 2nd and 20.
Offside, Calgary number 91, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
So it is 2nd and 20. Reggie Barnes had 140 yards rushing last week for against Winnipeg, but suffered a shoulder injury, and he is out for the rest of the year. They pick up Joe Campbell, who was released by Ottawa. Don Southern feels he's got a pretty good replacement in the backfield for the outstanding Reggie Barnes. Here's Slack under pressure again, gets away, dumps it off to Means up at the 52-yard line. He's still shy of the original line of scrimmage, and that will bring up 3rd down.
Chris, just going back, that Joe Campbell addition is a very significant addition for Coach Don Southern. Here we can see that's the pass of Means. He's just dragging across. He's really a safety valve, and Reggie Slack had a lot of heat on him. Just was able to find him right at the last minute. But Matt Finley playing in that zone, allowing everything to be thrown up in front of him. Then he makes the tackle short of the 1st down.
Problem spot, as you can see, on punting for Hamilton has been the net average, 31.9 for Osbaldiston, is last in the league, despite his strong leg. Has not been great coverage this year, kicking out of bounds, so there won't be a return on that punt by Osbaldiston. And it was out of bounds, which will give Doug Flutie and the offense the football at the 28-yard line. Well, here comes Doug Flutie to lead the offense. And with some records to chase today, Alan Pitts will be one of the targets. The man he beat out for the nod as the outstanding player in Calgary this year. It caused a bit of a furor this week, depending on who you believe.
Well, and who you're talking to. It didn't cause any furor within that Calgary locker room. These guys play together. Doug Flutie's very excited for what Alan Pitts has done. Alan Pitts is very excited, I know, for what Doug Flutie has accomplished.
Flutie over the middle. He was looking for Will Moore, but it falls incomplete.
Will Moore, number 82.
Chris, just getting back to that, just a little bit more to that is the fact that Coach Brown said, you know, I've watched Alan Pitts all week long. I just wanted to take a look at him, see how his mannerisms were, see what his attitude, see how his idiosyncrasies were. Were they the same as they had always been? And he said this guy has been great ever since the nomination had been announced. And he just knows that Alan Pitts is a pro and he's a character guy, and he's going to go out there and just be Alan Pitts.
2nd and 10 for Flutie. Out of the shotgun. Here comes the rush. Jason Simmons trying to chase him down, and it will be Hassan Bailey who gets the job done. Well, you talked about pressure on the quarterback. That's the game plan for Don Southern, and they get to him on the second play of the game.
One of the points that Coach Bono was very disappointed in the loss to Calgary 2 weeks ago was the fact that his offensive line just did not control the line of scrimmage. And here you can see that Simmons comes up, lots of pressure, nobody's touching him, and Hassan Bailey comes in, covers it up, and finishes the job on Doug Flutie. And this is what's going to happen. This offensive line of Calgary is really going to need to rise up to a challenge today and see if they can win the battle in the trenches.
So big sacks on either side in the first possession, and that brings Tony Martino into the game. Wally Zatilny is deep, and Zatilny has it. Not a long kick into the wind, and at the 34-yard line, the Hamilton Tiger Cats will have the ball.
For Tony Martino.
We're early first quarter on Halloween Eve at McMahon.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight.
A little more about the wind there. Doesn't look that bad. But what was that punt, Sim? 23? 23 yards.
Canadian Airlines is the choice of 1994. Canadian Airlines is proud to fly to the game of indoor tournament, because after all, there's no substitute for the competitive spirit. AGT Mobility is pleased once again this year to offer the services of our emergency message number, HomeLink, 540-2377. Leave this number at home if you're needed during the game.
It's the time of year when the wind can be a big factor at McMahon Stadium, and in this first quarter, Hamilton has the wind at their backs, and it was in the face of Tony Martino when he got away that 23-yard punt. Flag didn't look like it was whipping up, but they say it's gusting to 45 kilometers an hour. Reggie Slack, great field position here inside the 35 as he dumps it off to Joe Campbell. They like his ability out of the backfield catching the ball, and he's gang tackled and pushed back, but they'll spot it at the 29-yard line as we set the Hamilton Tiger Cat offense for you. An improving offensive line, and Earl Winfield, their star receiver.
And the big thing in that offensive line, Peter Gistopoulos is working that left tackle again. The rookie, Val St. Germain, is still having some problems with a turf toe.
Paul Bushy is the fullback, but we'll see Lee Knight at that position today. Here's Campbell, and Joe Campbell stopped up before he got to the 25. He'll be a couple of yards short of the first down. Will Johnson at the bottom of the pile, and Johnson, the outstanding defensive player on the Calgary Stampeders this year. Great front four, and of course the linebackers In fact, there's not really a weakness there, is there, Kev?
You take a look at it, it's a great defense completely, and it has really been enhanced by the addition of that number 30, getting Kenton Leonard back at his normal halfback spot.
Leonard suffered a broken shoulder Labor Day, came back for the game against Hamilton a couple of weeks ago. Osbaldiston in on 3rd down to attempt a 34-yard field goal. Dillon put it down, and Osbaldiston is good. So the Hamilton Tiger Cats strike first here, 4 minutes, 42 seconds into the first quarter, and they have a 3-0 lead.
Coach Southern has to be very excited and very impressed with that defensive stand, the first series of plays against Doug Flutie. It's important that Doug wanted to come out, obviously establish his offense. Hamilton was having nothing to do with it, forced him to kick it, gave Reggie Slack the ball on a short field, which is normally something that you'd see Doug Flutie have, and he was able to turn that short field into 3 points.
Suds knows, though, they have to really capitalize with the wind in this first quarter. He said it was a devastating loss again last week and a tough one for his team to get over. I know they're doing it every week, but here's Tony Stewart, and Stewart lunging over the 40 up to the 42-yard line. And Tony Stewart, a man we'll watch today as he looks for that touchdown record mark. Stewart in the backfield with Sean Daniels as the starting fullback today.
Daniels has been very impressive, and not only with his blocking ability, but his pass receiving ability. Rocco Romano is playing the right tackle in place of Kenny Moore. Ken Moore is the backup today.
2nd and 4, the handoff to Stewart again, right side. John Moulton is there, wrestles him down, but Tony Stewart has the first down, the first 1,000-yard rusher for the Calgary Stampeders since Gary Allen in 1986.
Talking with Coach Chuck McMahon and also John Huffnagel, they felt, both of them, that it was very important to establish dominance at the point of attack, at the line of scrimmage, and to be able to rush the ball against Hamilton. This Hamilton defense is tough, it is physical, and it is very, very fast. It's going to be a hard test today and a challenge for the Calgary Stampeders to accomplish their goal.
1st and 10 this time. They fake to Stewart, and look at Doug Flutie. He'll bootleg the ball and get out of bounds with a little help from Hassan Bailey, but Doug Flutie is going to play this one like any other regular season game, even though they have clinched the playoff spot. Here's the Hamilton defense. Cofield's the big rush man up front. Bailey is their Rookie of the Year, and Mike O'Shea, the outstanding Canadian.
The big thing is going to be in the secondary. Bobby Dawson and also Greg Eglin, to be able to play that halfback, that need to get physical against guys like Alan Pitts. Both of these guys in the back end are very physical. Hopefully they're going to try to take Pitts out of this ball game somewhat.
Flutie got one the first time, and he was pushed ahead by Vince Danielson and has the first down.
Stop by number 13.
Doug's 6th in rushing coming into the game was 708 yards.
Doug's taking a look. He's getting a little smile on his face because he didn't see any white jerseys anywhere around. All of a sudden, he got hit from behind, and he turned around and looked at Danielson. That's number 88, the rookie.
Well, after the loss against Hamilton, Flutie and company underwent some criticism at home and came back against Shreveport. Flutie throwing 5 touchdown passes. This is Sean Daniels straight up the middle, and right now, Calgary moving into the teeth of the wind with a pretty good ground game.
Something that they felt was very important, as I mentioned, to establish it. And they have 2 guys that can. When you start to concentrate defensively on a guy like Tony Stewart, all of a sudden they run that play action and give the ball inside this time to Sean Daniels. He makes a lot of things happen. This guy's 5'11", about 235.
2nd down and 3. And Flutie on the option, pitches to Stewart outside, and down the sidelines for Tony Stewart. That's a big pickup to the Hamilton 21-yard line. Pickup of 23 yards. Hassan Bailey forced Tony Stewart out.
Take a look right here. Now, all you're going to do, you're going to fake the inside handoff. Doug Flutie's going to come down the line of scrimmage and option off. This is Moulton. He's the only guy that's going to be there, and he's the guy. There's nobody to take the pitch guy, and all of a sudden Moulton's caught in between no man's land. He doesn't know whether to go to the quarterback or the pitch guy, and that allows Tony Stewart to get outside.
And a catch for Wiggins in front of Gary Wilkerson near another first down. And they're going to mark it just outside the 11-yard line. And it will be 2nd and inches. Very impressive Calgary drive against the wind in this first quarter, down to 6:50 to go. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats up by 3. Flutie sneaking for the first down, and he's inside the 10, close to the 7-yard line. John Moten on the tackle.
Chris, you'd have to suggest that he's not having any problems whatsoever with that ankle or with a foot injury or whether it's in the instep. Running the option play, carrying on the sneaks. Doug Flutie still, he knows he's the guy to get it done, and when it has to get done, he wants the ball in his hands.
1st and goal, Stampeders.
So it's 1st and goal for the Stampeders. They fake to Daniels, and Flutie looks into the end zone. Flutie throwing, and it's over the head of Will Moore, but 3 Hamilton defenders around him.
Late flag in the backfield, and I think that's going to be called on Tim Cofield on a late hit on Doug Flutie.
Roughing the passer, Hamilton number 55. Half minutes is the goal line. 1st down, Calgary.
No way to treat an old teammate, but Cofield called.
I think he's a little upset about being released by Calgary right at the last minute. He has a chance and an opportunity to slow up. Doug has released the ball a second or two right before he can get there. But after you work that hard to get through that line, you want to make somebody pay.
1st and goal at the 4, and flags fly before the play really develops, and a procedure call against Calgary. Back to that Cofield play. I don't remember this year Flutie really being punished like he was against the Ticats 2 weeks ago.
No, I don't.
Calgary number 67. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Jamie Crysdale, the left guard, called.
But I think the thing that Coach Southern said about we can get after Doug Flutie and we can punish him. We hit him more times than anybody else. And I think the problem was also that Doug was not running at full speed under that game, and that's why he was getting hit a lot. He just didn't have the ability to get away from it like he can possibly today.
And Flutie with lots of time looking in the end zone, but John Moten had picked up Tony Stewart out of the backfield and did a nice job in coverage.
Now this is one of the reasons why Coach Southern wanted to get him back into this Hamilton defense. This guy is excellent against the rush, but also he can play the pass as well, and they don't have to take him out, put a 2nd or 6 DB in there. He covered Tony Stewart out of the backfield, one-on-one, man for man, step for step. And he's a big man. He's 6'1", 235.
He'll come out for an extra deep back now on 2nd and goal from the 9. Now Danielson and Pee Wee Smith in motion right. Flutie rolling that way, and Pee Wee Smith drops the football. Smith with his first touchdown catch of the year last week against Shreveport. Dropped the ball, in Calgary, after a nice march, will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Doug Flutie has him wide open, and the ball hits him in a bad spot, right in the hands. Pee Wee just loses concentration on it. Chris, I was just looking at a record. Last week, Pee Wee made 1 touchdown reception. His career receiving yardage is 2,090 yards. Okay. Now the point being, Alan Pitts is already coming into this game 1853, and that's hard to put that into perspective.
McLaughlin good on the field goal, and these two teams are tied. 4:50 left, first quarter. You made a good point. Don't look at me like you're not sure you made it.
Okay, have I got about 10 seconds to intro that? Okay.
If that's you, please report to the AGT Mobility Information booth located in the Southwest.
How are we doing? You need any more?
Give me 15. Just so I can do, like, welcome back, it's 3-3, blah, blah, blah.
Convenience stores. One selection of 1,000 fans will win a pop-up courtesy of Max Convenience Stores. I draw your attention to the matrix scoreboard where it is flashing E. Lucky section E. Thanks to Max Convenience Stores.
Thanks, Tim. That's a great set.
At any Max location, waiting for the road now. Rows 1 to 43.
Might be better if you point.
Let's also welcome the guys in Section F, Row 2, Gene Simmons, Ace Fanning, Pete Preston, Paul Stanley, Kes Tanner to take away. Husky's proud to support Stampeder football in Calgary, and Husky Oil invites you to be a winner. Opti the Husky announces the top dog prize if you're in Section D, Row 12, Seat 8. You've just won 100 liters of Husky gas and a miniature stuffed Happy the Husky dog. Please report to the AGT Mobility Information booth in the Southwest Concourse to claim your prize. Olson Canadian, official supplier to the Calgary Stampeders, partners in our community.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium, where the Stamps and Cats are tied at 3. You know, the Cats have blown big leads in 4 of their last 5 games. Don Southern was saying the other day that should only happen once in a year. We asked Reggie Slack why it keeps happening to the Cats.
You look at the tape and you notice that we stayed focused the entire game. In the fourth quarter, when we needed to make the plays, we made the plays. We drove the ball down, we scored touchdowns. Our defense came on the field, they held the Calgary offense. So that's our main objective going into this game, is to stay focused and to play 60 minutes of football.
And Reggie Slack 3 for 3 so far, 26 yards in his first 2 possessions of the game, but kept on the other side. Calgary may be disappointed they only got 3 points, but they took 5 minutes and 28 seconds off the clock, and that's valuable time Slack doesn't get to use with the wind at his back.
Exactly, and this is why Doug Flutie is such a great possession quarterback.
Slack rolling out, throwing to Kelvin Means. It's his 2nd catch of the game. Knocked out of bounds by Alondra Johnson at the 52-yard line. That's close to a Hamilton first down. Means was shut out 2 weeks ago against Calgary.
They have a group of receivers that really starting to complement themselves, and McKay, Means, Winfield, and also you get Wally Zatilny in there, and all of a sudden, Wally Zatilny gets to be one of those guys they forget about, then he comes up with a 30 or 40-yard catch.
Look at Means, that was his 50th catch. Here's Joe Campbell, first carry, not much up the middle, but Means has 50 catches now in a half season. So you project his numbers over 18 games, and he'd be around 1,500 yards and 100 catches. Short gain for Campbell. Maybe a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Joe Campbell did a really excellent job replacing the injured Mike Richardson in Ottawa when he was there. Caught the ball, again, extremely well out of the backfield. He's a small player. He's 5'9", about 180 pounds.
2nd and 8 for Slack. A lot of time. An open receiver, but it's picked off. Greg Knox, the outstanding Canadian for Calgary, the safety, has the pick. And he is taken into the Hamilton bench heavily. Matt Finley's over there. A flag thrown, and we've got a real Donnybrook going on behind the Hamilton bench. Reggie Slack that took out Greg Knox right at the bench, and the officials really had their work cut out for them.
Chris, you thought you were going to get a chance to work a hockey game this season so far.
Yeah, they cleared the bench. That Hamilton bench. Well, for Greg Knox, it's his 8th interception of the year, and let's watch Slack's reaction to it.
Slack's just a push. He's trying to get out of bounds. Couple of guys getting hit over there, and everybody's going to take exception to that. Slack, 2 weeks ago against Calgary, took a shot on the sideline, and nobody from Hamilton actually jumped up and come to the rescue of Reggie Slack, but there was guys coming off the Calgary bench going over to the other side to help.
Hamilton, number 8, 15-yard penalty, first down Calgary.
I thought Reggie had a receiver open there, but he underthrew him, and Greg Knox picked it off. He was looking for Orlando McKay.
And they did call unnecessary roughness against the quarterback, Reggie Slack.
Another quarterback who wants to be a linebacker.
Hey, they're all those guys. They're between quarterbacks and kickers that have the hearts of linebackers.
3:20 to go, first quarter, a 3-3 tie, and after the interception and the penalty, it'll be a Calgary first down at the Hamilton 40.
Take a look there. That's a quick picture of Isaac Wright, who came over. He was with the Winnipeg organization, comes over as part of their strength coach, equipment manager, trainer. Isaac Wright does it all for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
I think he was on the receiving end. I think Knox was knocked into Isaac. Seems to be a problem with the headsets at the Hamilton bench, so they may have to take the headsets away from the Calgary bench in the interim. Flag down as Tony Stewart is stopped for a short gain.
Before the play began.
Jason Simmons from Ohio State in on the tackle. Another procedure call coming against Calgary.
Legal procedure. Calgary number 18, decline. Second down, Calgary.
Alan Pitts trying to get a quick jump off that ball. Gets caught in the neutral zone, and illegal procedure called against him.
1 yard gain for Stewart.
First time we called his number, but not for what he's noted for. See if Flutie looks for Pitts on this series. 2nd and 9. Here comes the rush again, and for the second time today, they have Doug Flutie. It's Michael Philbrick.
Number 99.
With the club on the left arm, Philbrick brings Flutie to the turf.
I thought in an appropriate way for Halloween, he should add a hook on the end of that club and just bring it in there. I think it would be more. But he has functioned extremely well with only really one hand, one arm. Able to beat up inside Bobby Pandelitas. Gets great pressure on Doug Flutie. Alan Pitts was running wide open, right over the middle, right in front of Todd Wiseman, the safety. But Philbrick was not going to let anything happen.
Fourth sack of the year for Philbrick. Martino lining a good punt into the wind. Adrian Smith with the return, and he's up to the 16-yard line. 2 minutes, 19 seconds to go here in the first quarter. It's a 3-3 tie.
Adrian Smith with a 9-yard punt return.
I don't know if the talkback's working, but we don't have much ambience in our headsets. Test 1, 2. Just bring it down a little there, John. That's a little overpowered.
It's not writing in the dark areas.
Test 1, 2. Johnny, can you bring it down a little? Just cut the difference. Split the difference.
They've already moved the Hamilton bench once. 2 people sitting high at section J and will only move to section 8. Rows 1, seats 23 and 24. All thanks to Bishop Gary.
We know for sure it's a headset problem.
Okay, boys, stuff to give away. The businessman special. A printed pencil set for Calgary stationers. Lunch at the Red Carpet Steakhouse. A Tundra sweater courtesy of the Clothes Closet and Rio Solway. And 1 month of complete car wash service courtesy of Johnny Rockets. Section E. Row 3, seat 17. That's E as in Edward, row 3, seat 17. Please take your ticket stub to the Southwest ATC Mobility Information Booth directly behind section A. We're all across North America today on ESPN2 Calgary. Let's make some noise! Under call, over 165 total services for your workout convenience. Under call, you're going to like it.
Back at McMahon Stadium, as you look at the offensive coordinators for these two teams, John Hupnagel, Gary Durchik still manning the headsets. There's a headset problem at the Hamilton bench, so Calgary has to, or is supposed to give up one, but Frank Spaziani said, no way!
Hey, you going to take something that's mine? No way, you come on over here and see if you want to get this one.
First down for Slack. Ran into Joe Campbell in the backfield. Lee Knight is in now at the fullback position for Hamilton, and he makes the catch. He missed the last 4 games with rib problems, but Knight back in there, also a former slot back, so he's good at catching the football out of the backfield. Unfortunately, made the catch, but no gain on the play, so it will be 2nd and 10.
No gain on the play. It's 2nd down and 10.
Under 2 minutes to go now, and Reggie Slack has not been able to capitalize on the wind advantage in the first quarter. Over the middle, that's Kelvin Means with another catch at the 25, but he'll be a 1.5 yards, 2 yards shy of the first down. Kenton Leonard and Greg Knox combining on the tackle.
Reggie Schlacks works to get that motion out of the backfield going one way, and then he comes back to the wide side of the field just on the quick slant. The ball, as you can see, is thrown just a little behind Means. Had it been thrown in front of him where he could catch it and also accelerate at the same time, he may have had some opportunity to get away from Kenton Leonard at least for a yard or two and pick up the first down.
I think I'm a little surprised after the game 2 weeks ago. They really haven't sent Earl Winfield out to challenge the corners yet.
Number 3, Paul Osbaldiston.
Osbaldiston in on third down.
Number 80, Pee Wee Smith. Number 86, deep for Calgary.
Smith and Wiggins are deep. And it's Pee Wee Smith at his 41-yard line, and he is drilled back. Pretty good surge by Eric Carter, who's a key man on specialty teams for Hamilton.
44 yards on the kick.
And this is the key right now. If you're going to have an opportunity, special team-wise, if you're going to punt the ball down there, get guys that have determination, energy, enthusiasm. It doesn't take athletic ability as much as just heart getting down there and making the tackle.
Calgary's won 22 straight home games. The last time Hamilton won here was 1986. And Doug Flutie, uncharacteristically a slow start, but you got to counter that with their strong game on the ground so far. Flutie over the middle. There is Alan Pitts. Pitts with the catch and a first down. And for Pitts, it's number 114 on the year. That's now 4 catches shy of his own CFL record.
Down by number 6, Todd Wiseman. 4 more catches.
Play action going to your left, and then what he wants to do is just come back to Alan Pitts on the opposite side of the field. Quick slant route. The linebackers Moulton was favoring the play action and allowed and gave Alan Pitts just enough room to get in behind. Doug Flutie did not make a mistake with that pass.
Here's Sean Daniels. He drops the football, and Hamilton's on it. Tim Cofield picks up the football. It's his 3rd fumble recovery of the year. Daniels pops it up, and with 16 seconds to go, the Ticats get the football back for their offense. Well, Tim Cofield, silent but deadly. He's an outstanding year defensively. There's Philbrick with the tackle, and Cofield came up with the loose ball. Should be the final play of this first quarter. That little shovel pass to Campbell up the middle. Matt Finley
Number 5, Joe
on the tackle
takes the
at the 54-yard line. Joe Campbell has a gain of 8 on the final play of this first quarter.
Hamilton Tiger Cats 3.
Not much offense to speak of in the first 15 minutes. 2 teams trade field goals. It's a 3-3 tie.
The Stampeder milestone. Please welcome slot back
Yeah,
Alan
sorry.
Pitts, who is
Well, yeah, okay, but, yeah. It was July 30th, 1988. I just can't read my notes. Mr. Ludwig? 45-20 was the score. Do we have the, did we ever see Al Bruno go ballistic or not? Well, yeah, unless we just showed him going ballistic. No. Or was it definitely,
Whatever you did,
you think the last one was
it is riding much better, so. Can you see it down there okay, Ronnie?
Do you have a second quarter stat on Calgary for Font or not? The 231 second quarter points? Yeah.
Okay. It just died again. I don't know, whatever they changed anything.
We're in Calgary, late October. It's football weather, a little crisp for this meeting between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Calgary Stampeders. the penultimate game of the regular season, Mr. Kepley. And we're ready to start the second quarter. Ticats' second and short yardage situation. And this is Brad Elberg, and he is hit hard by Alondra Johnson. And depending on the spot, I think Elberg came up short.
I think he did. Reggie Slack had some problems coming out from underneath the center. Darryl Harley stumbled a bit. Then when he did give it to Elberg, he tried to break it outside. And this Calgary defense pursues as good as any defense I have seen. They have great team speed, and they shut it down for hardly any game. It'll make it third and about a yard, Chris.
It is third down and 1 for the Tigers.
Calgary number 1 on defense in 4 major categories. Third and less than a yard. Slack with the push. And he stood up, but appears to have the first down. Let's check the numbers through 15 minutes here at McMahon in a 3-3 tie. And Calgary, despite operating against the wind, had more net yards because of a good ground game.
And this is exactly what they wanted to establish from the onset of this game, is to go out there and be able to rush the ball and have this offensive line really take control of Hamilton's deep line.
Just had a measurement, and Hamilton just made the first down
of the football. It's
on the Slack sneak. 54-yard line of Calgary.
First and 10 for the Calgary 54.
And Slack with pressure on, delivers. There's Earl Winfield at the 40-yard line. Earl Winfield in front of Douglas Kraft as they renew their battle.
Doug Kraft, number 3, with the coverage and the tackle.
What a great pass this time by Reggie Slack. Stands right in the pockets, gets stroked, but then as Earl Winfield just sets down in front of Kraft, the ball is thrown high, but he's able to bring out some distance between he and Kraft as he comes back toward Reggie Slack. And Earl Winfield has an excellent set of hands, really soft, and watches him cut, controls and looks that ball all the way in.
There's Slack in trouble, but he gets away. Now dumps it off. Joe Campbell's hit, spins off Gerald Vaughn, and is stopped at the 33-yard line. The elusive Reggie Slack made something happen there.
Now Reggie at 6'2", 220 pounds, he's a strong quarterback, very powerful in the leg area, and he's not noted for his scrambling ability, but he sure can utilize it when he has to. Gerald Vaughn comes up, tries to make a good shot, but he just doesn't wrap up, doesn't make the tackle, tries to knock him, Campbell on his back just by hitting him with his shoulder pad.
2nd and 2, Joe Campbell gets the handoff, but not much up the middle. Little or no gain, Matt Finley among the tacklers, and once again Don Southern has a 3rd down decision, and this time he's sending in the field goal unit. Ball is at the 32. This would be a 39-yard. Well, he's going to try and spot it at the 38-yard line.
Osbaldiston 11 for 13 from the 30 to 39-yard mark.
This one into the breeze.
Paul Osbaldiston with a 38-yard field goal attempt.
Todd Dillon, the holder. And the ball really hung up in the wind. Brought out to the 4-yard line. Osbaldiston misses, and we're still tied at 3.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Gary Ford.
When they make it by an inch, that's just making a first down.
Touchdown, timeout, to the big hand to our 2 Mohawk winners, Glenn and Wayne. They're going to try and toss it down the old
Well, except the guys at home are saying, well, they got a measurement, did they make it or not?
Here we go. All right, roll that guard.
Hi, Joe. Yeah, I can, except I just did not hear your that last commercial and also the countdown. So I just, if I can hear it, then I won't jump in there. Thank you.
Tonight, the 9 Mohawks are making a proud sponsor of the Calgary Stampeders. Are you people cool up there? All right, then let's start making some noise. Go, fans, go!
This is kind of a slow starter, eh?
better have some coffee.
No, these guys need coffee, not me. Better. Nice guy.
Stampeders Football Club would like to thank Mike Hart, the president of Brentford Project, for their continued support.
Oh, there it is. Looks like the Western Final.
Canada's January family huddle section, WNS is a non-alcoholic organization especially priced tickets and all Calgary airfield safely and
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. We're in the second quarter, and this year that has been the best quarter of football for Calgary. In fact, they have scored 231 second quarter points. That's more. In fact, it's 34 points more than Hamilton scored in the first half of all their games this year. So they can be explosive, and for whatever reason, Doug Flutie seems to really turn it loose in the second quarter. He has the wind at his back, but they're starting deep back at the 4-yard line. And Doug Flutie going to air it out. He's looking for Pee Wee Smith, and he's got him. Foot race now, Adrian Smith. Can he catch Pee Wee?
Not a chance.
Away. Touchdown. It's 106 yards. Flutie to Pee Wee Smith.
Chris, my only question is Doug Flutie hooked up to a microphone? He heard exactly what you just said?
Second quarter, and his first completion of the second quarter. 106 yards.
There's no smoke and mirrors to this. All it is just straight speed by Pee Wee Smith that makes that major.
That's the longest completion of the year in the Canadian Football League, and Pee Wee has touchdowns in consecutive games after going the first 14 weeks without a touchdown score. McLaughlin adds the extra point, and it's 10-3 Calgary.
Hamilton Tiger Cats 3.
Doug has an idea that this is a slow start in that first quarter. It's just a 3 or 4 step drop, little inside fake just to hold the linebackers, but he's going downtown to Pee Wee. And Pee Wee Smith, with the great speed that he has, is able to get by Adrian Smith. And it's a foot race that 86 wins for Calgary.
It's an easy way to have a 100-yard game. Just do it in one pass. Flutie was 2 for 5 for 20 yards in the first quarter. He's 1 for 1 for 106 here early in the second.
Chris, I was just checking out a little stat also. Doug Flutie, for him to throw for 6,000 yards this season, he needs 869 yards. Now that would be an average of 434 yards a game. Doug Flutie coming into this game has been averaging 347 yards. You let a couple of passes like that go through the course of a game, and this is going to be an easy goal to accomplish.
He also just tied his CFL record with his 44th touchdown pass in a season. Did it last year, did it again on that touchdown pass to Pee Wee Smith. Joe Campbell with the return.
With an 18-yard kickoff.
And now Hamilton finds themselves going against the wind and against the 7-point Calgary lead.
Downfield tackle for Calgary.
Efficient passing stats so far by Reggie Slack.
When you see a good look at his eyes and his face as he's talking to his guys in the huddle, he is exuding a lot of confidence in that huddle.
Here's Joe Campbell trying to get outside. Hit at the 29, but is able to carry the ball over the 30 to the 31. And it's a pickup of close to 7 for Campbell. Joe spent some time this year with the Ottawa Rough Riders, rushed for 231 yards in some duty for Ottawa, was released a couple of weeks ago and signed Tuesday
7 yards for
by
Campbell.
Hamilton.
First down and second down and 3.
Second and 3. Completion in the flat. Kelvin Means has been a favorite receiver of Slack so far today.
For Hamilton's first down.
And Kenny Walker is slow to get up.
But he's okay. Just a quick out pattern. Kenton Leonard, it just doesn't really trust and believe exactly what he sees in front of him, takes a peek into the backfield and allows Calvin Mees to break that out. Reggie Slack didn't have any heat on him, so he's able to deliver the ball for the first down.
1st and 10 from the Hamilton 35.
First down. Slack on a roll, throwing, and Satilny has it one hop in front of him. You're wondering if that's the longest touchdown pass in Calgary history. It is not. It's number 2. Jerry Keeling to Terry Evanson. A couple of great names of the past in 1966. Teamed up on a 109-yard touchdown bomb.
Didn't you broadcast that game?
I think you might have been burned back in 66. No, 76, right?
2nd down and 10.
Great names.
After 35.
And some of Evanson's marks have been shattered this year by the explosive Calgary offense. Here's Slack. Means is open and just overthrowing Kelvin Means. So Slack has been going to Means with regularity in the first half. Kenton Leonard in coverage that time for the Stampeders.
Very disappointed Slack because he had all the time in the world to throw the ball, and he had a great pattern one-on-one on the post corner route, and he just could not connect with Means. Now a test for Paul Osbaldiston. See how he's going to kick into this win, Chris.
Pee Wee Smith has caught his breath after that electrifying touchdown. Osbaldiston with the punt, and here is Brian Wiggins. Good coverage by the Tiger Cats. Brad Elberg with the tackle. We'll be back with Calgary's offense after this.
Down by number 22, Brad Elberg. 40 yards on the kick for the ball off Osbaldiston.
So it's official, they took one away. What one did they take away? Oh, okay. No, it's okay.
So he has 43 or 44 now. Well, they had two different sets of notes. Normally doesn't
It's
write
like Winfield. CFL has Winfield with like 100-some less yards than Winfield. It was 11:46, 10:85.
They just can't see it down in the truck, or what happened?
And the touchdown.
So can we use this now?
And a fine-night dining at the Polo's Restaurant, Section O, row 52, seat 11. Please report to the ATC Mobility Information Booth located in the Southwest Concourse. It's also time for the ATT QR77 Lucky Bomb. Look for that QR flag up in Section R. Whoever makes the most noise in your section will receive a beautiful ATT cellular phone. Go nuts up there. Thank you very much, ATT and Calgary Stampeder Radio QR77.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. You're looking at Michael Philbrick, who was Hamilton's defensive player of the game 2 weeks ago against Calgary. Despite having to wear that big club on his left hand, Philbrick actually wears 2 casts, and this is what he goes through before every game. One cast is wrapped, then he puts his hand inside another cast. That cast is clamped down, his fingers covered, taped up, so he doesn't break a bone in the back of his left hand. He has to have an x-ray every game. Chris?
Well, Philbrick's already got a sack in this game. Doug Flutie on the roll. And Flutie drilled out of bounds by Marcus Cotton. Mike O'Shea in the neighborhood as well.
Mike O'Shea is the guy that really made that play work now.
And 59, Michael O'Shea.
Doug Flutie wants to come out on the naked bootleg. Excellent coverage in the back end by both Wilkerson and Dawson on this side. Now watch 59 right in the middle of your screen. Watch the speed. He goes at the angle, gets at the upfield shoulder of Doug Flutie, cuts him off before he can get to the sideline, makes him cut back into the pursuit, and Marcus Cotton is the guy there to put Doug Flutie on his back.
Notice O'Shea smiling. You linebackers never used to smile, did you?
No.
2nd and 6. Flutie throwing off the back foot, and a flag down as Will Moore makes the catch and goes out of bounds at the Hamilton bench.
Now, Chris, that flag is thrown all the way on the opposite side of the field, and I think there's going to be some contact between Pee Wee Smith and also either Greg Eaglin or Bobby Dawson.
Legal contact on the receiver. Hamilton, number 9, decline. First down, Calgary.
Neither one, it's Eric Carter.
The extra DB. But they decline the penalty and take the catch by Will Moore. And at the 51-yard line, Hamilton will stay with an extra defensive back. 8 minutes, 15 seconds to go. First half, and it's 10-3. Todd Wiseman now at the line. Looks like a safety blitz. And they give it to Stewart.
Tony Stewart, number 21, with
and
the
short yardage.
for the Stampeders, about 3 yards on the game.
Hassan Bailey with the tackle. Well, they give Stewart 3. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Now, Chris, that's the one play that really surprises me. Doug Flutie comes up. Todd Wiseman, the safety, walks all the way up into the line of scrimmage. Doug Flutie has plenty of time to read that. Normally, he would make a quick audible and go to a post route or something very quick to try to take advantage of all that area in the middle of the field.
Here comes the rush on Flutie again. Cofield in pursuit. Flutie throwing it downfield. There's Alan Pitts. Pitts coming across, needs a block at the 30-yard line. Wiseman has him lined up and finally brings him down. Doug Flutie and Alan Pitts, they're both outstanding players and both made big plays there for 29 yards.
Todd Wiseman. It's a 30-yard gain on the second reception of the day.
Doug Flutie's historic Hail Mary passes comes in all forms, and this time he just throws it up for grabs in the middle between Bobby Dawson and Greg Eaglin. And the big, tall, rangy Alan Pitts pulls it down and it shows some fancy footwork to pick up additional yardage.
115 catches on the year for Pitts. First down, better protection for Flutie. Throws across the grain, and there's Pitts again. And Alan Pitts is down at the 20. Coming across the field, and Pitts with a gain of 5 that time. Greg Eaglin with the tackle.
Strips him up after just a 5-yard gain.
And those numbers up to date.
Watch Pitts keeps working. Now Doug Flutie is sitting back in the shotgun. He sees this guy open. Now he's just going to find an open area. Comes back across, and he's a big target to see downfield. Doug Flutie puts the ball on the money. Alan Pitts makes no mistake in pulling it in.
2nd and 6. Flutie to Danielson, and he is wrapped up. Fine defensive play by Carter. That extra defensive back, and Calgary has the first down and moves the yardsticks again.
Eric Carter, just a great addition in playing as that 6th or 7th defensive back. At 6 foot, 186 pounds, he comes up and really strokes you. Great technique in tackling. The one thing Coach Southern said that he had was excellent closing speed on the ball.
Remember the CFL record for touchdowns, 20 in a year, held by 4 different players, and Alan Pitts one away. Flutie backpedaling. Here comes the rush, and there's Danielson stretching out, makes the catch. And he is down at the 7. He's done a nice job replacing the injured Dave Sapunjas, who told us just prior to the game that he is on the travel list for next week in the final game against BC, where he hopes to be back in the lineup. But Danielson, the first-round draft choice, has done a nice job in replacing Sapunjas.
The youngster out of UBC just makes an excellent one-handed stab and then gets up and tries to leap forward for a couple of extra yards. When Doug Flutie is running the show back there, everybody gets involved.
2nd down 4. Here's Flutie throwing in the end zone, and Will Moore couldn't bring it in. Bobby Dawson was in coverage, and Moore couldn't squeeze that Flutie pass.
Bobby Dawson, number 27, with the coverage for the Cats. 3rd down.
Bobby Dawson closed very quickly, but you take a good look, just as Will Moore breaks up, good solid contact. The ball is thrown ever so slightly just behind Will Moore and allows Bobby Dawson to come up and try to get a hand on there anyway.
So Mark McLaughlin in. Gets 13 points for his 6th consecutive 200-point season, and bad placement, and he kicked it right into the line. So Hamilton dodges a bullet. Score remains 10-3.
And the Hamilton Tiger Cats 3. Let's welcome the 1994 Calgary Stampeders Outriders back on the field. They're sponsored by
If you guys want, you can try and find Frank Maroff on the Hamilton bench. He was their holder last year, Calgary's holder. 82. Or 81, yeah, 82. 82. Maroff's in the lineup today. Yes, sir. Yeah, just at the end, just show Maroff. Thanks.
Okay. No.
Don't forget the vote for 1994 Keaton State Memorial Trophy winner.
Well, Doug Flutie's kicked himself a couple of times. He's gone over and apologized a couple of times to Mark McLaughlin. He simply dropped this snap from center.
They're usually sure-handed. The snap is there for Doug Davies. He drops the ball, then he tries to lay it sideways on the tee. To his credit, McLaughlin tries to go through, and that was Frank Maroff. Now, he was the holder last year for the Calgary Stampeders.
Flutie's first year as the holder here. Flag flies as they hand it off to Joe Campbell, who pushes his way up to the 11-yard line. Looked like some movement on the line. We'll see if Calgary was drawn offside.
Stu Laird, number 75, on the tackle.
Offside, Calgary number 81, 5-yard penalty, first down repeated.
Will Johnson, a little anxious that time. And it sets up a 1st and 5. 3:45 to go. First half at McMahon Stadium. Reggie Slack and the Tiger Cats trailing 10-3. Give to Campbell and Stu Laird with the tackle.
With the carry.
Campbell getting to the 15-yard line.
And again, Stu Laird, number 75, had his number.
Play with not much imagination that time when Campbell just stays in the backfield. Stu Laird is getting off the ball, getting upfield. He's sitting there and he's looking right at the quarterback Slack and at the back. Doesn't have to make any move. That back is sitting there for a reason. He got the handoff, but not before Stu Laird closed in tight to shut it down.
2nd and 3. Slack in trouble and down he goes. Strekos Zizakovic. And for Strecko, it's sack number 3 on the year. 2:59 left first half here in Calgary.
All right, time for the Stampeders' favorite fan package. A Stampeder jacket. This will be the Stamp Store.
Sanderson.
Pair of 1995 Stampeders season tickets.
Sanderson slow to get up.
Marcoli's fine Italian Restaurante. Section U, row 21, seat 19. Another one for everything but the kitchen sink. A Stone cappuccino machine from our friends at QR77. Carpet cleaning from Service Master. A Harley Davidson jacket from Kane Harley Davidson. And from Nielsen Cadbury, a souvenir t-shirt and a box of Crispy Crunch chocolate bars. Section E, row 36, seat 2. With all caution, winners, please report to the south corner of the stadium now.
Okay. Yep.
AT&T Mobility is pleased to announce home link, an emergency message service for all Stampeder fans. The number is 500-2377. If you leave that number at home and you need it during the course of the football game, an AT&T Mobility volunteer will bring a message to you in your seat. Stage direct, your communication superstore at 291-5400. Pro-Am offers one-stop shopping for ATV accessories. Pro-Am motorcycles.
What's up, Ohio?
Sreko Zizakovic with the sack. It's his third of the year, so he's one behind little brother, Lubo, who has 4 for Calgary on the season.
Reggie Slack comes out. It's just good coverage in the back end by Calgary. And Sreko does an excellent job of getting Reggie Slack right on the ground. And then you get a look at John Huffnagel. Now, Huffy was having a good go around with Sreko because Huffy happens to be from Penn State, Sreko from Ohio State, and Penn State beat Ohio State 63-18 yesterday.
And Osbaldiston forced to, well, he's going to give up 2 in the end zone. They're going to give up the safety and a late flag. Dondra Owens took Osbaldiston out into that sign when Osbaldiston appeared to be out of play, so penalty will be tacked on after the safety. So Hamilton electing not to punt into the wind from the end zone and give up great field position to Calgary. And the field position won't be as good now after that penalty.
No. Now, Chris, maybe some of this discussion took place. Did that penalty take place before he stepped out of bounds? Now, in fact, does it still have to concede the safety?
If he was in bounds, then he can be hit, though. So it'll be an interesting interpretation if it went that way. But there does appear to be a question of whether the 2 points will stand and then the 15 yards tacked on to the kick. Hamilton will have to kick away. Or do they get an automatic first down on the 15 yards? Junior Thurman seems to have an option to discuss.
There is a safety touch scored on the play. Hamilton will kick off the ball with 15 yards added on the kickoff.
So the safety makes it 12-3. And Don Southern's team will get to kick off 15 yards further as you see Dondra Owens tracking down Osbaldiston.
Well, just a little loss of concentration that time by Dondre Owens. Concentration and probably a little discipline problem.
Usually Hamilton would have to kick off from the 35. In this situation, they will kick off from the 50.
Well, Paul's one of those kind of guys. He'll give up his body for the team. Take a shot like that.
Heck, he's 6'3", 230 pounds. He can take a shot.
Dondre Owens was 5'9", 180. He should have been able to hit Dondre Owens and maybe laid him on his back.
Nine-point Calgary lead.
But even more so, Hamilton was able to accomplish exactly what they were trying to do.
Ryan Wiggins, and he fumbles the football. It's scooped up, and it's Tim Cofield, touchdown. His 3rd touchdown of the year, and it couldn't have worked out better for Hamilton. What a turn of events. The old Stampeder gets to celebrate at McMahon Stadium against his former teammates.
Number 55 with the touchdown.
This is one of the strongest men in the CFL, and obviously at this point could be one of the fastest. Getting down there, he's 6'2", 245. As Wiggins makes the grab, all of a sudden there's Eric Carter again in to strip the ball loose. And Tim Cofield, no one's going to touch him once he picks it up and gets it into the end zone.
What a force he has been this season, and now he's among the scoring leaders. 3rd touchdown for the defensive end. Don Southern says he's so quiet he doesn't even snore when he sleeps, which means he probably couldn't have played for the 61 Ticats or that Eskimo team in the 70s.
My only question is, I just wonder how Sudsy knows that.
A proud sponsor of the
I wouldn't
Calgary
argue with
Stampeders
Cofield.
And the Stampeder uncles and aunts at large.
There again, Eric Carter, and he has done a great job on specialty teams for the Hamilton Tiger Cats today and since he joined this team.
For all of their laser eye care needs.
3 weeks ago, Cofield picked up a loose ball when Damon Allen was hit on a sack and ran it into the end zone.
Are proud of their support for the Husky Oil Stampeders High School.
Just take a look at that guy. Look at the size of that man's arms right there. Holy smokes. Powerful man.
He was hurt when Calgary let him go, and the main reason was he was suffering with neck burners, and it became something the Stampeders were concerned with. He has turned that around with a different exercise regimen. He has different shoulder pads now and seems to be over the neck problems, and certainly is a major force on defense for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
He's relocated that burner from his neck down to his feet where he's running pretty fast.
12-10 the score. Quick turnaround here, and now Pee Wee Smith. Here's Pee Wee weaving to midfield. Nice return by Smith, who has the lone touchdown for Calgary in this game as we join Mark.
Chris, we're 2:24 from halftime. We invite you to join us live at the half for our Saturday special. Some pretty big highlights, including a new CFL record from yesterday's games and Trick or Treat, the most frightful plays of the season in the CFL. Put on your 3D glasses for that one.
Ooh, scary.
Ooh, very skinny stuff.
Congratulations to Ray Yock and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They claimed a playoff spot yesterday, and a lot of people, when the season started, didn't think that was going to happen. They will be the opposition for Calgary in 2 weeks' time. Here's Flutie, play action, and there is Alan Pitts. Hamilton says he trapped the football, and they are ruling a catch at the 36-yard line. So the Pitts countdown continues. It's 117 for number 18.
Take a look, the hands are there, the ball comes down and through. I say no catch. Fred Anderson, the owner of the Sacramento Gold Miners, would have liked to probably had that guy making the call at Commonwealth Stadium.
Flutie has Wiggins at the 20-yard line. Eric Carter with the hit, and Wiggins dropped the ball again, but this time the whistle had gone. Yeah, controversial play at Commonwealth yesterday. Looked like Sacramento might have had the winning touchdown. Your thoughts on that?
16 yards on the play.
It looked like a catch to me. I just saw the highlights on the news last night when I got in from Toronto, and if I had to call it from that angle, I would have said it's a touchdown.
Well, we'll get another look at it at halftime. Here's Tony Stewart, and he runs right into Michael O'Shea. The middle linebacker out of North Bay and Guelph University has had another terrific season, his second in the CFL. He has quickly become the leader on defense.
And even more of a compliment to him of moving from the outside linebacker to the inside linebacker and just doing a tremendous job of running the defense for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Third in tackles in the CFL behind Calvin Tingle and Willie Pless. Flutie, a lot of time, he'll pull it down. Mike O'Shea can't catch him. Flutie trying to get outside and steps out at the 5. Nothing wrong with the foot that time as Mr. Flutie did a dance.
I was just going to say, Chris, that when we did it open, I don't think anything's wrong with that, the way he was moving around and cutting on it.
Flutie getting it down to the 5. It's a 1st and goal for Calgary.
One of the things that Chuck McMahon happened to say is that Doug Flutie had changed his footwear to a different style of shoe that added a little more support, and it looks like it's helping him in every respect possible.
1st and goal from the 5. Flutie over the middle, Will Moore, touchdown. Touchdown number 10 on the year for Will Moore.
Doug Flutie with a 5-yard touchdown pass to number 82, Will Moore.
Well, he lined up all the receivers, and just about everybody in the house is thinking Alan Pitts. But Doug Flutie finds Moore alone in the end zone.
44 touchdown passes with that one.
And that now is officially 44. The league took a touchdown away, so I stand corrected on the Pee Wee Smith. They confused one touchdown that went to Steve Taylor, but that is number 44 for Doug Flutie, tying his own CFL record.
Take a look right now. Now here's the safety. Look at Doug Flutie's eyes as he comes out. Alan Pitts is on this side. Will Moore is on this side, but take a look. He's going to read that. Look to that side, then come back to the wide side of the field very quickly. The safety doesn't have enough time to get there. Easy pitch and catch.
Here comes those mini footballs for the Yellow Pages after each Stampeder touchdown.
Will Moore just comes, he gets inside of Eric Carter. Eric Carter make a very poor attempt at trying to jam Will Moore as he came off the line of scrimmage. Allows him to run right down the seam, and Doug Flutie and Will Moore make no mistake with that pitch and catch.
And Kev, they've done it again. All year they've averaged just over 14 points a game in the second quarter, and once again here they have 2 touchdowns in the second quarter plus the safety, so it's been 16 points in the second quarter for the Stampeders, and they lead 19-10. Kelvin Beans has the football.
He's got a little room.
Cut it back inside, and at the 36. He is down. We'll go back and rejoin Mark.
Well, Chris, this week they announced the first round of voting in the CFL Player Awards. You see, for Hamilton, the outstanding player, Earl Winfield. Tim Cofield with that big touchdown on the fumble is the defensive player. Mike O'Shea at Canadian, Dave Richardson, the lineman, and rookie Hassan Bailey, who's had a great season at linebacker for the Cats this year. And look at Doug Flutie now up for a 4th straight outstanding player nomination. There was some controversy here in Calgary. One local newspaper saying Alan Pitts was miffed, but Pitts set the record straight for us, saying he's quite happy for Doug.
Catch by Lee Knight out of the backfield.
Lee Knight, number 25, with the catch, and Doug Kraft, number 3, with a good hit on the
It's going to be
sideline.
important right now
Very
for
short
Reggie
game.
Slack to maintain some patience just for this last minute or so. Calgary's going to play back, and they're going to allow everything to be thrown in front of them. They're not going to give up a home run ball. And in this situation, it's 2nd and about 6. Streko Zizakovic comes out, and all of a sudden, Greg Fears goes back in as an extra defensive back for Calgary.
Slack setting up. There's Earl Winfield, and through his hands, Earl had to go high, but that's a catch we've seen him make time and time again in his great 8-year career with the Tiger Cats. And it's 3rd down. What you don't want to do is give Calgary the football right back with 1:04 to go. And the wind at their back.
Crucial that this coverage team get off the blocks of Calgary very quickly, get downfield, and try to see if you can contain guys like Wiggins and Pee Wee Smith without a big return, because it won't take Doug Flutie very much time or very much yardage to get into a field goal or even possibly a major before the half is over with.
Great punt into the wind, and it's Wiggins. Down at the 26.
A 49-yard punt, Ryan Wiggins,
Well,
number 80.
Here's Flutie, and I really do think the writers in Calgary had a tough decision on which way to vote. I think I might have gone, despite this stat that shows Flutie for the 2nd straight year with 44 touchdown passes. I'm not sure this has been Doug Flutie's best year. It certainly has been Alan Pitt's best year. And I might have leaned the other way on the vote, but Will Johnson probably said it best when he said both decisions would have been right.
Unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 3, 15-yard penalty. 1st down, Calgary.
Paul Osbaldiston, who was roughed up on that safety, is called for unnecessary roughness. And that'll give Calgary 15 yards better position. But it's interesting, when Terry Greer set the record in 1983 of 2,003 yards, he didn't win the Outstanding Player Award either.
Come on, God damn it, get next game!
1st and 10 snaps at their own 41.
At the 41-yard line, 1st down. Doug Up top to Tony Stewart, and that's a great defensive play by Hassan Bailey. Mark mentioned he's been terrific in his rookie season at the linebacker position.
What a great find this has been for Hamilton's defense. Hassan Bailey, 5'11", 200 pounds out of Kansas, covers a lot of ground. He's an oversized, basically defensive back that can play the rush extremely well.
Hurry up offense for Flutie. Looking for Pitts, and Bobby Dawson step for step. Great coverage by Dawson that time.
Pitts is incomplete. Third down.
35 seconds left. It's third down. Well, Dawson, a big guy who can play physical with Alan Pitts, 6 foot, 210, veteran out of Illinois. Well, I made my editorial comment that I might have voted for Pitts. I noticed that you kind of skirted the issue and didn't offer an opinion.
Skirted? We're right in the middle of the play. I would have voted for Alan Pitts, without a doubt. How you like that for a skirt?
Great kick by Martino over Adrian Smith's head. And Smith lets it bounce at the goal line. And Brian Wiggins was down in coverage. That's a terrific play. 21 seconds to go, a 74-yard punt by Tony Martino.
When you lay that out, when you say 74 yards, that sounds pretty far, but his longest this year has been 75 yards. What a great kick at a great time to drive Hamilton deep in their own end zone.
Well, at this point, with 21 seconds left, Ticats might just run out the clock. Especially with the wind that they're in their faces. Slack's not going to take any chances. And Calgary's going to call a timeout. .19 seconds left, so Wally Buono trying to force Hamilton perhaps into a punt situation on third down. Well, now that we've decided Alan Pitts should have been the outstanding player here, Doug Flutie will go after his 4th consecutive Outstanding Player Award. He has 3, the only 2 other men who have won the award 3 times, Russ Jackson and Jackie Parker. But I'll tell you, Kep, watching the game yesterday and seeing Baltimore destroy Winnipeg, and watch Mike Pringle set a new record, breaking the old mark of the former Calgary great Willie Burton. Pringle is going to be a factor in that outstanding player voting. It's going to be very close between Pringle and Flutie, I would guess.
A very formidable opponent if it comes down in the final voting between those 2 guys.
Of course, there's another Flutie to talk about.
Wait a second. I'm going to take this skirt off and put it on you and see if you'll skirt this one. If hypothetically it does come down to Flutie and Pringle, make your call.
I may need another week to
assess.
Oh,
here we go. Turn the music up, folks. It's time to dance.
The next ballot is not due for another couple of days.
Oh, so
17 seconds left, and it's 2nd down for Hamilton. And again, Slack puts the knee down. And they'll be able to let the clock run out, and time for one more play.
And in all seriousness, I just fail to see, why Wally would call a timeout at that point. Go ahead, take the lead that you have, get into the locker room, and get ready for the second half.
And that's what they'll do. Time's run out. Opening 30 minutes here. Don Southern's team right in it, trailing by 9 at the half. Mark?
Chris, while you guys decide who's wearing the skirt, I'll remind you that it was 15-10 Calgary 2 weeks ago in Hamilton when the Ticats launched their comeback to come back. They're still in it, and we'll have Live at the Half when we return. The bomb for a touchdown, Cofield the recovery for a touchdown. Wouldn't you agree, Chris and Dan?
Yes, it had its moments. It kind of reminds me of the first half 2 weeks ago, but Kep, we were on a record watch in the first half, but I think Calgary set us straight that the priority is winning football games and not just going after records.
Absolutely, Chris. I think the fact that Wally wanted to stay within what they do best, and again, not to go out and just try to throw the ball 5 times straight to Alan Pitts or run Tony Stewart to death or have Doug Flutie just put the ball up in the air. Stay with what you're going to do later on in the playoffs.
Came close to one record, though. They were 3 yards shy of the longest play in Calgary Stampeder history.
A nothing play, but all of a sudden, Doug Flutie just airs it out, and as I said, it's speed against speed. And Pee Wee Smith prevails in this foot race and gets it in for the major.
That was a 106-yard touchdown pass from Flutie to Smith after Flutie had passed for just 20 yards in the first quarter, but he exploded in the second. But then it was a specialty teams touchdown by Hamilton.
Just energy and effort and enthusiasm getting down the field. Eric Carter comes in, strips the ball loose, and the big guy, Tim Cofield's hustling down and gets it in also for the major and a big turnaround.
Okay, we are watching for records, and Alan Pitts gets closer. He had 4 catches in the first half, although this one, yeah.
Lucky to be good, good to be lucky. Either way you want to look at it, after 117 catches or so, you're going to get 1 or 2 that may go your way, may not. And I'm sure that that was one that went his way.
1 shy of the single-season mark now, and we'll see that in the second half. Mark?
Well, Chris, the Ticats have proved that they are hexed when they have a lead, but they have also proved 2 weeks ago they can come back against the Stampeders. It's 19-10. Calgary in the lead. We'll be back with the second half kickoff right after this.
Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Yep. Hello, who's there? Is that notwithstanding what happens on the field? Just kidding, sir. Just kidding, sir.
Hey, if those guys go by the script down there,
I
right?
once had a news guy, when I told him it was going to be a light day in sports at noon when there were no games being played, he asked me what crystal ball I had that I knew that it was going to be a light day in sports. There you go. It's funny, eh? I mean, those flags look like they're just about dead.
Joe, can you hear me by any chance? Okay, if any chance that we get, can we throw a camera up toward the coach's spotting booth for the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Last week, Ben Zambiazzi, the great linebacker, joined part of the staff as an assistant to help out. So we may get a shot of him.
He's the greatest linebacker of his era, I believe.
Catches, 32 yards.
We're back at McMahon Stadium getting set for the third quarter of this afternoon's game between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Calgary Stampeders. Calgary leading by a score of 19-10 as we welcome you upstairs. That's our spotter, Daryl Moyer, former great Calgary safety. Sim Simone's been handling the stats all these years, and younger brother, Daryl Dave Moyer, also on the stats for us. Mr. Kepley usually paces during the course of a game, and I'm taking it easy until the kickoff. Hamilton will kick off to start this game, but they will have the wind advantage in the fourth quarter, and that could be a big edge as we check the numbers through 30 minutes of football. And the Stampeders with a big edge in net yards.
A lot of those yards came on one big passing play to Pee Wee Smith, but also the big thing for Calgary is that they've been able to rush the ball at will against this Hamilton defense.
Here's Pee Wee Smith, and he is dropped at the 38-yard line.
On the kickoff return, 6 yards for Smith.
So Doug Flutie with a last-second conference with John Hufnagel before starting this third quarter of play with the win. And we'll check the numbers for the quarterback so far. Remember, half of Flutie's total, just about half, on the one pass to Pee Wee Smith, 106 yards.
Super 7. Lots of cash, more chances to win.
Crucial that this Hamilton defense can come out and start this second half the way they did the first half, hopefully be able to shut down Doug Flutie and get the ball back over into Reggie Slack's hands very quickly.
Mix up there as Stewart ran into Flutie in the backfield, and he is dropped behind the line of scrimmage. A loss on the play as that one was not drawn up that way.
I don't think so, and not only are they going to help themselves, but Doug Flutie and Tony Stewart are going to help them also. Inside counter trap, and Doug Flutie takes a deep drop, but also Tony Stewart takes a deeper drop to try to take the handoff, and there's nothing going to take place there. Marcus Cotton, one of the guys making the stop on that play.
They say just a loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Flutie rolls and throws against the grain, incomplete. Hassan Bailey was covering the intended receiver, Tony Stewart.
Hassan Bailey, 35, on the coverage. Third down.
So a quick 2 and out to start this third quarter for Flutie and the Calgary offense. Martino had the big 74-yard punt in the second quarter with the wind at his back. Wally Zatilny is the deep man, and he will field it at his 24. Wally straight up the field over the 35 to the 38-yard line. Dwayne Dimitrition, Blair Zare, and Ray Biggs there to meet him. 14-yard return after a 49-yard punt. Well, you saw Slack's numbers. The completion percentage was impressive, but he didn't really have any big games. Kelvin Means was his favorite receiver.
And that's what's going to happen. Anytime you play against a Calgary defense like this, they're not going to give you the big play. Be very patient again, come back and just be able to dump the ball off, set up some of that short throwing game, set up a little play action stuff, then you can be able to take it downtown.
Against the wind in this third quarter. Throwing out in the flat, and that's a completion to the fullback, Paul Bushy, at the 45. Gain of 7 on the play. Kraft with the tackle.
Good look at Matt Finley, the Fin Dog, and he's the leader on that defense, calling the plays, communicating out there, making sure that the other 11 guys along with himself are in the right alignments.
Another terrific year for this defense. Number 1 in points allowed, yards allowed, number 1 against the run, number 1 in sacks. They're number 5 against the pass in the CFL, 2nd and 3. Full house backfield. And the give is to Elberg off the right side. He is close to the first down and will move the yardstick.
Grabbed by Alonzo Johnson, number 51.
A very good confidence call that time by Reggie Slack to come up and just say, there's nothing fancy. It's man against man up front. That big right side of the Hamilton offense got off there. O'Harley, Sanderson, Richardson is all up on the right side, and he just hands it to Elberg and picks up the first down.
First down for the Cats. The counter play to Joe Campbell, and Alondra Johnson read it well. Ball came loose, but the whistle had gone, but a terrific defensive play by AJ.
Trying to take advantage of a 1st and 10 situation, getting that good solid pass rush coming up the field and then trying to throw the shovel pass back inside. But what happens with this Calgary defense? Alondra Johnson, Marvin Pope, Greg Knox, all of those guys have such great team speed. They're able to make the pursuit and make the play.
No gain, so it's 2nd and 10 for Slack. Rolling to his right, pressure on from Finley and Johnson. There's the catch by Means, and he's into Calgary territory at the 47-yard line. And Reggie Slack paid the price. He's still down.
Gerald Vaughn, number 38.
And I think that was AJ Alondra Johnson that finally came in on a late contain and just chased Reggie Slack down and put the bone on him after he delivered the pass.
Had his bell rung last week in Winnipeg, and he took the shot from Alondra Johnson. Kent Leonard also was slow to get up on the play for Calgary, but Slack remains down. And Todd Dillon starts to loosen up. Dillon had to come in last week, midway through the 4th quarter, and he'll be called upon again in relief of the injured Reggie Slack. That's just the same as last week. That didn't look that bad.
No, I don't think so. Mr. Simone, how many yards does Pitts have now? 64? He needed what, 100?
Calgary Stampeders and Xerox Canada are both proud supporters of the Stay in School program designed by our own Mark McLaughlin. We'd like to welcome all those students here in the Xerox Stay in School section in Section J.
Well, it's been a hot topic, concussions amongst football players, and whether the rules used for boxing maybe should be applied for football. Reggie Slack had his bell rung last week, and once again, it looks like a similar situation as he gets attention from the medical staff of the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Rules of boxing, huh? That probably would have been appropriate for that little brawl that we had at the beginning of the game. There was a couple of standing 8 counts taking place there. But, you know, it had to happen possibly when he hit the turf and his head hit the back of the turf as opposed to the shot itself that AJ hit it, because it didn't look that vicious and it didn't look that hard. It hit him up in the chest, but he was off balance, and when he fell back on his back, the back of his head looked like it made contact with the turf, and there's where the problem started.
You see the numbers for Dillon this year. He comes in with 11 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, operating against the wind, 1st and 10, and Dillon with a nice fake inside, throwing for Zatilny, incomplete. Flag is down as
we're going to have roughing the passer.
They're taking their shots here, and the Stampeders took one at Dillon that drew a flag. Nice defensive play by Gerald Vaughn on the pass attempt to Zatilny.
Roughing the passer, Calgary number 81, head slap, 15-yard penalty, 1st down Hamilton.
Will Johnson is in that frame of mind today. His 2nd time today he's drawn the flag, and I'm not so sure that one should have.
But I think what he called after roughing the passer, he called a head slap, that the hands went up, and the right hand of Will Johnson made contact in the ear hole of Todd Dillon.
Dillon had trouble planting, and down he goes. It's another sack for the Stampeders. Stu Laird has his 2nd of the game.
Stu Laird, 75.
Had Dillon back at the 40-yard line, so it's a loss of close to 9 yards.
Dylan, trying to make that plan, but even more importantly for the Calgary defense was the fact that Stu Laird never stopped that upfield rush. And this is what happens. These guys line up in such different positions up there, give the fronts of Hamilton's offense so many different looks. It's hard to block and know what they're doing, and you got guys with that kind of determination making the play.
Here's Dillon looking for Earl Winfield, and Kraft got his hand on the ball, but it falls incomplete. We saw that pair battling 2 weeks ago, time and time again, and that's their first good duel down the sidelines this afternoon.
This is the first time, as you said, Chris, that Kraft has even been tested at all with Earl Winfield going deep. Not much of a fake, not much of a pattern. Actually, the ball's thrown up there, a little hand on the shoulder. Earl gives it that Academy Award-winning performance, goes down, tries to draw the flag, but the ref saw a little bit right through that.
Yeah, it worked a couple of times 2 weeks ago, so he thought he might go back to the well. Instead, it's an incompletion and a third down for Hamilton. And Osbaldiston will try and pin him deep. Not a great kick, but a decent enough bounce. Smith fielded it, and the flag goes down for no yards. It'll be a 5-yard penalty against Hamilton.
27 yards on the
Just
punt.
a 27-yard punt for Osbaldiston. 9:55 to go here in the third quarter. If you're just joining us, it's 19-10 Calgary. We'll take a timeout, and we'll return to McMahon Stadium in Calgary after this.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, down the field level, Terry Ford.
Yep.
Okay, we did it.
Yeah, he says he took a helmet on the chin and what he thought was a late hit, and it stunned him.
Here we go.
Okay.
Turning, get out of there. I'd like to direct your attention down here.
Yep,
Turning
okay.
golf ball 35 yards for the opportunity to win $50,000 in cash.
Appreciate more than a first down.
Who have given them
One
those
or two
nifty
first downs.
sweaters they're wearing. Here we go. Cheer them on. Let's go.
Let me see your ring here. Oh, a great cut break. So.
Oh, off to the right for 50 big line. Okay, Frank Watson getting all set to let her rip.
Yep.
Good technique. One foot behind the other.
Yep.
The ball is going straight, heading towards the hole. Slowly hooking, foul! Remember to stop by Sport Check and get set dinner. We'll do it all again next year.
So he's
Let's
like
make some noise,
punch track
Calgary.
though.
Awful play today for what the cold people.
Canadian Airlines, the official airline of the 1994 Calgary Stampeders.
There's no yards in the play before. 5-yard penalty.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. Reggie Slack is clearing the cobwebs in his head after taking a shot on that last series. Last week against Winnipeg, he suffered the same injury, had blurred vision in one of his eyes. He says it's not as bad this time, and he will be back in this game. Chris?
We'll monitor his situation, see how long it takes for Slack to return. Right now, his counterpart, Doug Flutie's going to work.
Straight ahead for
And a
6
handoff
yards
to
on first down.
Tony Stewart. Jason Simmons with the tackle for Hamilton.
And Chris, you could see that Calgary is just going right with the basic stuff that they have always. They're not accenting any guys out there as in Flutie or as in Pitts or anybody else. What they're doing, they're trying to get everybody to sharpen their skills and do it for 60 minutes, and they say on the road to the playoffs.
Second down 5 at the 26, straight up the middle, Tony Stewart. He has a first down at the 35, and an ankle tackle kept him from breaking that for big yardage. Looked like his son, Bailey, just got him by the ankle.
Good explosion off the line of scrimmage by that offensive line of Calgary and really driving Hamilton back. And Tony Stewart doing an excellent job of picking his way and finding his hole.
Todd Wiseman, the safeties moved up to the line again. Now backs off and they hand it off to Stewart. And Stewart powers his way to the 42 and has a gain of 6.
Brought down by number 29, Roger Hennig.
Since he's giving it, that's that old defensive signal. If he goes like that again, take and hit him right in the jaw. Hit him in the jaw. On 2, ready, break.
At 43.
Yes, that's also the defensive coordinator. Here's Wiseman right back up at the line. That pulls back, 2nd and 3.5, and Flutie throwing to Alan Pitts. And Alan Pitts with the catch has number 118 on the year, and that ties the record he set back in 1991.
Doug Flutie gets Todd Wiseman, the safety at Hamilton, walks up, everybody's up on the line of scrimmage, and all he wants to do is audible, make the call, the quick out to Pitts, and it was there for the completion.
First down at the 49. Flutie rolling right. Looking for Pee Wee Smith, but he's out of bounds. Smith has the ball, but couldn't get a foot down.
Out of bounds. Incomplete.
And it will be 2nd and 10.
Pee Wee makes his break, comes back toward away from the defender. Smith makes an excellent concentration, but just can't keep his feet in bounds.
(19-10) midway through the 3rd quarter.
Second down and 10, Stampeders.
And it's 2nd and 10 for Calgary. Here comes the rush on Flutie again. Cofield had a hand on him. Flutie way back in his 20. Now turns it upfield. Takes a look. Looking for Tony Stewart, but he can't catch the ball. Oh, the Magic Man escaped trouble again and delivered what could have been a touchdown strike to Tony Stewart. Vintage Flutie.
Hamilton's doing the things they need to do. Cofield gets some heat on him, forces him up, but you can see how Cotton comes all the way in as opposed to getting containment, getting on that upfield shoulder of Doug Flutie. Bruce Covington comes back and helps him out, buys a little extra time, and allows him to throw the ball downfield. Doug said, almost. Just takes a little look at it, and it goes through the hands of Tony Stewart.
I'll tell you what, any guy that can straight arm Tim Cofield maybe should be the outstanding player in the league for a 4th year in a row. Wally's at Tilney, and Greg Frere's the first man down. Made the tackle, 6:56 to go, 3rd quarter. Here's Alan Pitts, who has another record.
51 yards on the kick.
Hey, we've got some great costumes here today. It's now time for our 12 contestants who will pick a Canadian Airlines flight bag that's now being placed on the field.
That makes, is that 118?
Yeah.
His record was
118.
118.
So he doesn't really have a record. But I had to get out before the... And I did, and it didn't even do that. Did they? Aren't they nice? Hanging on my every word even when it doesn't make absolute sense. What the heck's going on? Yes, sir? Okay. Yeah, the next sketch is the big one. I'm fine.
Well, it wasn't a record. That's what other record doesn't have then.
It'd be really interesting to see Stewart drop the ball. How well it was delivered, no? Okay, good, yep. Oh, it didn't just hit Stewart in the hands? Oh, it looked like it.
Yeah, I think it just went right through his hands. I mean, he came by it.
Veteran safety Todd Wiseman in coverage on that last Flutie scramble. And here's Flutie looking for Tony Stewart downfield.
Now, Todd Wiseman comes by, he just gets his hand and his body in front of Tony Stewart. The ball actually gets there and it goes right through the hands of Tony Stewart.
Slack throwing one up for grabs, and Oh boy, Gerald Vaughn almost had 6. So Reggie Slack returns and almost had Gerald Vaughn return an interception for a touchdown.
Just about had the interception.
Incompletion at 2nd and 10.
Had this ball been thrown on target, it was 6 going the other way. It was a low thrown ball, and Gerald Vaughn tries to catch it in his body as opposed to his hands, and it ricochets off for an incompletion.
At the 13, the pressure's on. Slack running around, and down he goes. Pressure initially supplied by Lubo Zizakovic.
It's a loss of a yard or 2 and 3rd down for the
And that brings up 3rd down against Hamilton deep in their own zone. Pete Giftopoulos and Will Johnson exchanging words. There's the younger brother, Lubo Zizakovic.
Coming out with just a bit of a limp also.
Came over from the Tiger Cats in a trade for Luke Cafazzo.
Little brother Strecko coming off the field right behind him.
Well, he is smaller in stature.
That's what I meant.
Little because he's the younger one, but neither one are little.
Well, it's 6'8", 268 Lubo, and it's 6'5", 265 Strecko.
And Wiggins is down at the 50-yard line, so great field position. Frank Maroff, the ex-Stampeder, making the tackle. A 44-yard punt into the wind, which doesn't seem to be as big a factor in this second half.
A 45-yard kick for
5:59 to go. It's still a 9-point Calgary lead.
First down and 10.
This is one of the times that Doug Flutie's had the opportunity to start on one of those short fields that he's been accustomed to through the course of this season.
Out of the shotgun, here comes Bailey. Flutie just got it away, and it's a record catch to Alan Pitts. And that is typical of how these two do it. Flutie under pressure, but always seems to be able to find number 18, and Alan Pitts has a new CFL record, catch number 119.
Receptions in 1994.
No time to celebrate. It's a hurry up, no huddle offense for the Stampeders, even though the fans here at McMahon are on their feet for Alan Pitts. At the 39 of Hamilton. First down, Calgary. Flutie directing traffic, has it open. Will Moore, who's tagged at the 23. It's another first down.
It's a 13-yard gain and another Stampeder
So
first down.
6 catches on the day for Alan Pitts. He has one record, 119 catches in a single year, and now remains in pursuit of Terry Greer's single season yardage mark. He is 70 yards away from that. Flutie over the middle. There's Danielson. Vince Danielson, touchdown. The rookie gets into the end zone for the first time in his CFL career, expanding the Stampeder lead.
Just a great call by Doug Flutie in this case. When you get down in the red zone, as most teams call it, the green zone, as Calgary calls it, because green means money. Everybody's thinking that they're going to go to Alan Pitts. Double coverage in the back end of that, and they've used the young rookie, Danielson, just on a drag pattern underneath, and he's able to get away from Todd Wiseman and get the ball in the end zone.
And McLaughlin in to add the extra point. It's good. And the Calgary Stampeders now lead Hamilton 26-10 with 4:18 to go in the third quarter. So once again, they get down in that green zone, and everybody thinks Pitts, maybe Stewart. He goes to the guy who hasn't scored a CFL touchdown in his career.
Just coming from the left of your screen, running all the way across the field and running away from the coverage. And more importantly, that's Eric Carter, the extra defensive back. Doug Flutie very excited about that. Touchdown pass, number 45.
So there's another CFL single season mark. Flutie's 45th, Danielson's first, and earlier in the drive, Pitts with catch number 119. So an historic 3-play, 49-yard drive.
And Chris, I can promise you that first touchdown catch for that young rookie is just as important to him as those other two records are for Flutie and Pitts.
Here's Joe Campbell. Tiptoeing up to the 35.
Number 5, Joe Campbell with the return for the Hamilton
And
Tigers.
finally brought down.
28 yards.
Alan Pitts, 119 and still more to go.
Thanks, Gio.
Please welcome Patty Vandrick, the Northern North Campaign Director for the Canadian Diabetes Association.
Just have the bench in the background. How about that? That's good.
I'd like to thank
You
the
just,
Calgary
face
Stampeders
this way
for their
out.
support of our 1994 Door-to-Door campaign. The dates run November 1st to 14th this year, and we have over 6,000 volunteers out for
What's his,
on your door. And we hope that you
What's his
get
yardage now?
Yeah. He's 70
All
away.
right, it's now time for the tool time trip courtesy of
We'll have
the Canadian
we're
Diabetes
gonna do
Association.
a Q&A.
You
We'll
will fly to Los Angeles, California, and be our guest on the set of the popular TV sitcom Home Improvement.
I know we're coming on right here.
Also a tour of the homes of the
We're gonna do a
Stars
quick interview. We're coming on right now. I'll explain it to you as we do.
Sim, what's his total yardage right now?
Seat 26.
Pitts.
You are the big winner. Please report to the Southwest Conference. We'll go to the information booth. All right, the trip for 2 we just awarded to the Cows.
Yep.
Connie Moritz and Keith McVitie. Where are you guys going to go?
We're going to Vancouver to watch the Stampeders Grey Cup.
Yeah!
No, I don't.
All right, now for Vancouver.
Who's doing this? Me?
Oh, well, for Canadian Airlines International. Let's go Stampeders!
Chinook Laser Eye Center is proud to be the official for the Calgary Stampeders. Chinook Laser Eye Center in Chinook Center.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium, where the Stampeders lead the Tiger Cats 26-10, and Alan Pitts making his 119th catch of the season. Alan, you've been getting a lot of congratulations here on your own bench. Tell us how it feels.
Well, it feels real good. I mean, you know, the main thing is that I've been truly blessed this year to come back and put together a very productive season. But, you know I put in my effort, but again, my teammates have put in their efforts to make this possible for me.
Alan, I know you're awfully disappointed about the nomination, but records can make up for that, can they not?
You know, to try to put that thing to rest. Of course, it was a disappointment, but I mean, that's over. So, you know, we're continuing to pursue this championship that we want to get, and that's the main thing. So, you know, hopefully we can just continue on that route and we'll do what we want to do.
Well, the TD and yardage records could still come, and we might be back with you later in the half. Thanks, Alan.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. One record down, but a couple still up for grabs. And here's Earl Winfield, and he drops the football, no catch. An incompletion, and it brings up a third down for Hamilton.
If you take a look between Earl and also Douglas Kraft today, Douglas Kraft is winning this match.
Earl slow to get up.
Reggie Slack does a really good job of being able to drill this ball in, and it hits him right, boom, right in the chest. But the left hand of Douglas Kraft was able to go through there and strip the ball loose before Earl Winfield had possession of it.
Winfield had a comment on the controversy here, Pitts or Flutie. He thought it should have gone to Pitts, but then again, just about every wide receiver in the league would have voted that way. We'll be right back. Well, I'll get the count. Thank you, Sim. Why? What are you going to say? He's had the rib problem all year. Is that where it's like, eh? Earl Winfield having his left knee checked. And he remains down. 3:23 to go here. Third quarter at McMahon Stadium. It's a 26-10 Calgary lead. Take another look, and it's almost a catch, but Doug Kraft, as Earl tried to tuck it away, knocked it free.
And just before, as that ball was coming to hit his chest, his left knee came down as his foot hit the ground and almost looked like it buckled ever so slightly. And that may be where he's having the problem in his left knee.
4 times 1,000 yards in a season for Earl Winfield. He's had a great year this year. In fact, it might turn out to be his best. He's just short of his personal best totals, even though he missed 4 games with a rib problem and now limping off. And we'll have to get a report on whether we'll see Earl Winfield back in the game today. Third down, Hamilton, and Osbaldiston getting ready to punt it downfield to either Brian Wiggins or Pee Wee Smith.
For the Tiger Cats.
It's Pee Wee Smith with the football. And he's up near midfield at the 54. Brad Elberg on the tackle. Just a 27-yard punt, a 14-yard return. 45 touchdowns on the season for Doug Flutie, breaking the record he set a year ago.
Chris, one of the main reasons that he's able to throw those 45 touchdowns is the fact that this team, the offensive line, is first in sacks allowed of only 18 through the course of this season. Not too many guys get around Doug Flutie.
Oh, and you'll hear other offensive coordinators who say another reason, 45 touchdowns. He's got the best core of receivers in the league, but it all comes together. And that's why they are threatening to become the highest scoring team in 1 year in CFL history. The record held by the 1990 Toronto Argonauts was 689 points. Calgary came into this game needing 63 to break that record. They have 26 this afternoon. I think that makes them 37 points shy.
I'm working with a rocket scientist.
First down for Flutie, and the Stampeders over the middle, and it's Vince Danielson again.
Perfect to Vince Danielson.
Bobby Dawson with the hit. And the hurry-up offense goes back into operation for Calgary.
Watch the touch on this pass by Doug Flutie. He's able to lay it right over Michael O'Shea right before Bobby Dawson. And Danielson knows he's going to get struck, looks to pass in, and makes a great reception.
Flutie approaching 300 yards passing on the afternoon. Alan Pitts is open, but the ball overthrown that time.
Number 18, Alan Pitts.
Nice recovery by Gary Wilkerson. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
Just a pass that Doug Flutie would like to have back. One that sailed on him as he had Alan Pitts running straight down the seam all by himself. Had he delivered it down on the line a bit, Alan Pitts would still be running with that ball.
2nd down and 10, Stampeders.
When Calgary's converting on 2nd down like that, they're usually ahead, and right now 16 points up on Hamilton. Here's Stewart out of the backfield, and he is driven forward, and that will be close to a first down. At the 28, he had to get inside the 28 to move the yardsticks.
Chris, it looks to be probably about a ball or half ball short, depending on the spot. Doug Flutie's looking downfield all the way out, but then Tony Stewart, he's sitting out there as the wide out position, just becomes the safety valve.
Just as you called it, it'll be 3rd down.
Stewart comes up this
Well, it'd have to be a pretty long ball, but it was pretty close.
Minute and a half to go in the 3rd quarter. Flutie in behind that big offensive line will just push forward, and he'll have the first down. And you see number 64 just leaving the pile. Ken Moore did not start today's game. The right tackle is back in. He suffered a dislocated shoulder 3 weeks ago against Ottawa. And Moore back in the lineup, and he's one of the unsung heroes.
Well, they wanted to get him into play today. He didn't actually start the contest. Rocco Romano started at the right tackle.
First down, Flutie out of the shotgun, has an open man down the sidelines. Did Wiggins have a foot out of bounds? They're ruling a catch, but he did step out at the 16.
He got the ball in. He got the ball in.
Here's Mike O'Shea pleading the case that Wiggins was standing out of bounds. The referee says he made the catch. No, I don't know.
Well, that's a quick feed of Brian Wiggins, but the right foot initially looked like it was out of bounds.
First down, though. Here's Flutie looking into the end zone, was looking for Pitts, incomplete. Nice coverage by Greg Eaglin. Although Flutie thought there was some bumping going down.
Defensively for Hamilton.
And there is. Every time there's plays out like that, those defensive backs and slots and wideouts, they're going to make contact. It's a physical game. And right at the last minute, as Doug Flutie delivers the ball out there on a rope, he wants to get the pass interference call against Greg Eaglin.
Pat Abruzzi, Darrell K. Smith, Greg Marshall, check that, Blake Marshall and John Volpe with 20 touchdowns in a year. Pitts at 19 as Flutie looks for Pitts in the end zone. Touchdown, number 20 for Alan Pitts.
He's third again today. Alan Pitts. He has tied the CFL record of 20 touchdowns in a single season.
Catch number 120 and touchdown number 20, and a standing ovation here at McMahon Stadium for Alan Pitts. McLaughlin adds the extra point. It's 33-10 Calgary. That's the final play of the third quarter. It was a big one for the Stamps, even bigger for Alan Pitts.
Here comes the football. Calgary Stampeders touchdown. Those yellow pages. Yellow mini football.
Well, we're making so many rushes at the beginning. We're giving away players, so we're able to blame them.
Because I knew it was that play. It was perfect, except I said Greg Marshall.
He needs 55? Okay.
Courtesy of Daniel Fisher. Congratulations, Doug. Time now for another lucky Stampeder section where 1,000 fans will receive a package of Terrapin orange juice, courtesy of Terrapin. Please direct your attention to the South scoreboard. Today's lucky section is R. And we'll find out who gets the juice. Thanks again to Tropicana Juices for being a sponsor all year long of Calgary Stampeder football. Section R, rows 1 to 43. Don't forget, following the game, the party continues at next.
Grab your 50-50 tickets, folks, because we have a $3,726 jackpot today. If your 50-50 ticket number is 2850, 2850 for $3,700 cash. You have 15 minutes to claim it. Report to the AGT Mobility Information booth in the Southwest Concourse under Section A.
Now, two great players. Kemp, I got an idea. We make Flutie and Pitts co-outstanding players.
It would be appropriate. Now just watch Pitts. Watch the adjustment he makes on the pass thrown. Quick turnaround pivot. Look over the other shoulder as the ball's thrown on his outside left shoulder. Makes an excellent job of looking it back in.
Elberg scooped it off the rug and returns it to the 54-yard line. Hamilton with the win in the fourth quarter. Alan Pitts goes to the oxygen, now 55 yards shy of Terry Greer's single season yardage record. But there's another one that he has made his mark in, becoming the 5th player ever, 20 in a year, and he still has 5 quarters of football left in the regular season to break that mark. Reggie Slack trying to avoid Hamilton losing touch in this one. They've dropped off 23 points. They've lost some big leads in the fourth quarter, being called upon here to stage a big comeback in the fourth.
Let's go back again and take this touchdown look, because it is very memorable. Doug Flutie again having a significant amount of time to throw the ball. And this is something that you don't normally see. Alan Pitts is usually pretty calm, pretty cool, pretty collected about things, but a real show of emotion after that catch.
Here's Slack bringing it down. He'll carry it himself and dives for the first down inside the 40-yard line.
That was the headlong plunge across
a big game on the ground last week against Winnipeg. 10 carries, 68 yards. And even on that bad knee, had another cortisone shot this week, gets one every 2 to 3 weeks. He can still move the football on the ground when he has to. They faked to Campbell, setting up, and Orlando McKay bumped by Junior Thurman, whose coverage was airtight that time.
Airtight, little contact right while the ball was in the air, but Junior Thurman got away with one, I believe.
Well, he wanted to. He was beaten by McKay for a touchdown 2 weeks ago. It's the only time all year he's been victimized for a touchdown. Not going to let it happen again if he can help it. Junior Thurman, the great veteran out of USC, 30 years of age.
Chris, when as many good things to start happening as it's happening to the Calgary Stampeders, you take a look. The sunshine's starting to come out, and the shadows are on the field. And it's shining on the Calgary Stampeders today.
Just that little shovel pass to Campbell down to the 30-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. Marvin Pope with the tackle as we join Mark.
Chris, here on the Hamilton bench, an update from the training staff. Earl Winfield hyperextended his left knee on that last offensive series, but it didn't seriously injure the ligament, so he is able to stay in this game.
Earl not as big a part of the offense today as he was in the first meeting of these two teams. Third down, and Hamilton's going for it. Quick hitter over the middle. It's Lee Knight with the catch down inside the 10-yard line. So a big third down conversion. Don Southern gambling, and it's a 23-yard pickup, the second catch of the day for Lee Knight.
Just coming in your picture right to the left of the screen. Lee Knight waggles up from his fullback position, sets up like he's going to block. Marvin Pope takes a look in the backfield, and Lee Knight's able to slip by him. Reggie Slack has enough time to get the ball, delivers it, and Knight makes no mistake about pulling that pass in.
So Hamilton threatening. Inside the 10. Here's the pass inside. It's picked off. Greg Knox on the ricochet. Headed back the other way. And Knox heading towards midfield. Following the convoy. One man to beat. And Dave Richardson. No, he's still going. Knox, touchdown. 111 yards for Greg Knox. Second interception of the day, 9th of the year. He had a little convoy going down the sidelines, Captain Reggie Slack.
There wasn't anything little about that. He had some big fellas from that big defensive line up in front of him. And it was almost a very innocent play, quick slant route. But all of a sudden, Kenton Leonard makes a good play on the ball. I think it was Kenton, by the way. Tips the ball up, it bounces up, and Knox having great concentration on the ball, scoops it up, thinks about laying down in the end zone for just a moment, and then gets up and sees nothing but green in front of him, goes all the way.
Yeah, there was a delayed reaction after he made the catch, but saw the blocking for him, and away he went. McLaughlin adds the extra point. I thought Richardson may have got enough of him to knock him out of bounds, but he did the tightrope back down the sidelines for 6.
So there was some argument on the sideline from Hamilton thinking that he did step out. Now it's just pure ego. Now if a defensive back intercepts the ball, runs all the way back, and you get tackled by an offensive lineman, you'll never hear the end of it. Never hear the end of it. But watch Knox how he starts to pick up his blocks. Pope's there. Zizakovic, AJ, everybody's there trying to make a block. The last guy that has a chance is Slack, but then just to the left of you screen, watch Richardson. The step, you can't see it from that angle. The right foot comes back over, lands in bounds, and then he gets in and just says, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just a step, just without having his legs taken out from under him. He keeps great ability, and he thinks he's playing rugby. He's going to get it in, ball out, and then after all that, somebody's going to come down and jump on him and hit him.
Safety's dream.
Against Saskatchewan. Game tickets are now.
Native of Peterborough, 111-yard interception for a touchdown.
One of the guys we just saw walking up in the booth, agent Greg Peterson, may like that. I think he is that young fella's agent right there.
That's Bobby Panelitis, who was shaken up on the convert. It's
Fumble-free photocopying with a Rico photocopier. You get products.
Looks like he'll be all right as he makes his way to the bench.
Rico, an official supplier to the CFL.
Hey, we've got a great offense, but we neglected to mention we have the best defense.
But the top Canadian on the Calgary Stampeders this year, Greg Knox, electrifying the crowd.
Chris, I would suggest probably they would hope that those nominations would have come out 4 or 5 weeks ago if the guys that are nominated are going to showcase themselves as well as 3 have today.
That's the 3rd longest interception return for a touchdown in Stampeder history. Here's Kelvin Means trying to turn it back the other way for a big gain.
Kelvin Means on the return for Hamilton up across the
Calgary Stampeders up 40 to 10.
And Doug Kraft, number 3, in on the special teams tackle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, your 1994...
Sorry, boys, the scoreboard has 39, so I started wondering if they'd missed the convert.
Hey, Mr. Simone, how many yards does Pitts have today in K? He's over 100, right?
That would tie another record, actually.
Yeah, he had to tie that. Yeah, it'll be 11 straight 100-yard games. I mean, not straight, 1,100-yard games in a season.
So you don't mind being bumped to 4th overall? Oh, okay, so that's worth more, yeah. Or if you want to show Daryl here. He had a 106-yarder.
He can't run 106. Dunnigan with... 10 seconds.
Well, there's the story. It's been opened up here in this last 10 minutes or so. Calgary with a 30-point lead on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They have already clinched first place in the West, but That hasn't necessarily meant success in the postseason in recent years. As you can see, just 3 teams have won the West in the regular season and gone to the Grey Cup in the last decade. Here's Paul Bushy, broke 1 tackle and gets it into Calgary territory at the 51-yard line. A pickup of 9 before Alondra Johnson brought it down. We went through the records after the Greg Knox 111-yarder, and we noticed that the 4th longest interception return in Calgary history was by Daryl Moyer at 106 yards. We said, well, he beat you by 5. And Moyer says, yeah, but mine was on Labor Day.
That's exactly. Labor Day, more people saw that one.
Here's Elbert looking for first down yardage, and he'll have it before being driven back. Mark Pierce in the game now. The blacksmith out of England with the tackle.
Big fella also, 6'7", 270. And he is, by trade, a blacksmith. I mean, you need to go down there and see if he can reshoe myself. Maybe I can pick up a little speed. What do you think, Chris?
You run on your heels.
Heel toe. Sprinters do that. Mark Lee told me.
Look out, Reggie Slack, Marvin Pope. Blindsided Slack, ball's loose. Who's got it? Oh, Big Daddy. What a hit on Reggie Slack. And it's gone from bad to worse in the second half for Don Southern.
Okay, why wait any longer?
Calgary football. And everything's going their way.
That is the crispy crunch.
Looked like Kenny Walker at the bottom of the pile.
Can you imagine like Halloween opening the door and seeing scary faces as you turn around and all of a sudden, boom!
Oh, boy.
There's Big Daddy standing at the front of the door and comes through. He actually doesn't wait for the doors to open. He just kicks them in and walks in.
11, congratulations.
And then you got Mark Pierce and also Walker. Everybody scrambling for the ball down underneath. It doesn't matter who came up with it. The fact is, Calgary 1st and 10.
And Steve Taylor now in the game at quarterback. At midfield, first play for Taylor. He throws in the flat, complete to Will Moore. Out of bounds, but
Will Moore with the catch on Taylor's
at the 45, and it looks like that should be enough for a first down.
Bobby Johnson, number 27.
Steve Taylor's numbers on the year rather impressive in limited action in relief of Doug Flutie. And the Stamps are convinced that he could be starting for a lot of teams in this league.
You just took the words out of my mouth. Had he not been a backup behind a guy named Doug Flutie, he would be a starter.
Here's the option he used to run in Nebraska, keeping it, and up the sidelines to the 31-yard line. It's another first down. I wonder if he and Huffnagel have arguments about who should be number 1. You mentioned Penn State with a big win. They are number 1, but Nebraska winning big yesterday are second ranked.
Steve comes out, fakes the inside handoff. They've got the pitch. Moulton this time, if you remember earlier in this game, went to the quarterback and they pitched it to Tony Stewart. This time he goes to the pitch. Steve Taylor has the presence of mind. Turn it upfield, pick up a first down, keep the chains moving.
Now Taylor out of the shotgun on first down. Looking down the sidelines, Brian Wiggins can't bring it in.
Brian Wiggins got a hand on it. Incomplete, second down.
But kept, like Doug Flutie, Steve Taylor spreading it around, and they're really showing you how many receivers and weapons they have. We've seen Danielson, Wiggins, Pee Wee Smith, Alan Pitts. 4 more touchdowns today, 5 last week for Flutie.
You know, a lot of times when you have a 2-quarterback system, sometimes, you know, that you don't have the exact same game plan for both quarterbacks.
Participation. Calgary number 80. He went out of bounds and came back in the field of play. It's declined. It'll be second down Calgary.
Just to finish that thought, the fact is that with Steve Taylor and Doug Flutie at any point in time, all of the game plan fits for both quarterbacks. I had an opportunity to talk with Coach McMahon, the offensive coordinator, and they come in with about 16 different protections and 8 or 10 different plays off of each protection. So it's like 160, 70 plays.
And there's a beauty. One of the nicest of the day to Will Moore. So they don't miss a beat with Taylor in, and you saw Flutie barking out some of the play calls to Steve Taylor, looking back at the Calgary bench for another play. The last one went 30 yards. And they'll spot it at the 1.
What a talented athlete to be standing over the sidelines, just warming up ever so slightly, getting a chance to come in, and then come in and throw a touch pass like that. Will Moore looking the ball in and makes it 1st and goal on the 1.
1st and goal to go Stamps at the 1-yard line.
John Huffnagel on the right. That's George Cortez, the offensive line coach that was on the left.
And they give it to Daniels off the left side. Touchdown.
Okay, Chris, I only have to question one thing. Tony Stewart needs a couple of rushing touchdowns. Why didn't he get the ball then?
Now Stewart at 18 needs 2 to tie Pitts and company. He's 1 away from the team rushing record. He tied it last week, but Daniels gets the call, gets the touchdown. And I think Calgary proving a point here again this afternoon. They were ripped after their loss to Hamilton 2 weeks ago, that maybe this team was not hitting on all cylinders. Last week they blasted Shreveport, but everybody said it was just Shreveport. Well, today they are blasting Hamilton, and Steve Taylor adding to the rout here in the 4th quarter.
Well, you ask those guys in Toronto about it, it's just Shreveport. They're walking around scratching their head trying to figure out what happened on the last second with a 55-yard field goal.
And I'll tell you what, Ottawa may have their hands full next week going into Shreveport. Hamilton not out of the playoffs, even if they lose today. If Shreveport can come up with a win against Ottawa, Hamilton can get into the playoffs with a tie or win against Saskatchewan on the final day of the regular season.
Playing against Toronto the other night, Shreveport certainly did not embarrass themselves.
But even on that drive, Cap, it's business first, the records are secondary.
That's exactly right. The main thing at the end of the day, at the end of that 60 minutes, is that there's a W in the column. After that, we'll work at everything else to try to smooth over egos and records and everything else. But this is a very team-oriented.
Kelvin Means. Over the 35, Ray Biggs, who's been a standout on specialty teams all year. With the tackle, the Stampede's on in Calgary.
56 yards on the kick for Mark.
Okay.
It is official. The man with the most crispy crunches this year. Okay. Stand here. We just want to get a picture of you. We say this is what happens. You can't see those wars in the trenches, but here's an example. No, but Tuna will be. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, let us see your elbow. Yeah. That's his own.
Service Masters, the official rug and locker room cleaners of the 1994 Calgary Stampeders. Satisfaction guaranteed with Service Masters.
Say again?
The Calgary Stampeders play-by-play action every home and away game exclusively on QR77. Calgary Stampeder Radio. The next broadcast is Saturday, November 5th against BC Lions.
For fans who wonder what it's like in the trenches in the CFL, here's an example. Big Bruce Covington of the Stampeders has bled all over his pants. He's got 2 cut elbows, a gouge in the neck, and he says he's been poked in the eye 3 times in this game by the Ticats. Marcus Cotton, but keeps coming back for more, Chris.
Yeah, so the Stamps this afternoon, 6:40 to go here in the 4th quarter. Todd Dillon in relief from Reggie Slack. And Orlando McKay with the catch. Quickly gang tackle.
Now back at quarterback.
They'll mark it at the 42-yard line.
Pass to number 80, Orlando McKay. Complete.
Well, tough day for Reggie. Knocked out of the box once. He came back and then threw the interception and the Greg Knox touchdown. And then Marvin Pope knocked him to the canvas for a second time.
Big Daddy playing trick or treat.
Joe Campbell bouncing off a tackle and out of bounds, has a first down. So it will come down to next Sunday for Hamilton, at least Don Southern hopes so. You'll need some help from the Shreveport Pirates, who will have to tie or beat the Ottawa Rough Riders Friday night to keep Hamilton's playoff hopes alive. Dillon, and there's a catch by Richard Nurse.
Dillon's pass is
just his second of the season. Just a special teams player, but Nurse with a nice catch there.
Todd does a good job of throwing the ball on the run. He throws it outside, and Nurse doing an excellent job of concentrating, looking the ball in, squeezing it with his hands.
At the Calgary 47, Dillon back to pass, and Bushy has it out of bounds at the 43.
Number 33, Paul Bushy.
Short gain, pick up a 4.
Todd Dillon, 4 yards on the play.
Coach, I would think one thing, Chris, the fact that this is the time, these last 6 minutes, that are really going to test Wally Bono, because he particularly wants to see the defense, even though this game is out of hand, to be able to play a solid 60-minute football game and not give them soft passes and not make mistakes. So it's important for them to learn now rather than wait till the playoffs.
Over the middle, Means took a shot from Greg Frères as the ball falls incomplete.
Intended for number 83, Calvin Means.
And the last tune-up for the playoffs for the Stampeders will be Saturday night in BC. Well, the fourth quarter has been a nightmare for the Hamilton Tiger Cats all season long. Outscored 186-81 coming into the game, so that's an even 200 points they've given up in the fourth quarter this season, with the 2 touchdowns here this afternoon. Dillon on third down, throwing for Means, incomplete. They'll turn it over on downs with 4:47 to go. Maybe some Calgary records still left. Yeah, we'll see. How much does he need? Pitts needs how many? Still 55? Or? Yes, sir. No, I don't think so. Well, they're just still going to go for these. There's still a few records left. We might show the stand or whatever. This is second straight season they'll go without a loss in the regular season here at home. Want to show the fans or whatever?
Take it easy and take the Greyhound. For passenger fares and schedules, call Greyhound at 265-9111.
Okay. Are you counting today or not?
Yes, you added it.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought it was 22. Yep, so, yep, absolutely. Dan Kepley is declaring that this game will be a win for the Calgary Stampeders. He's gone out on a limb, and it will be the 23rd consecutive home victory here at McMahon Stadium for the Stamps, which adds to another record they hold. Haven't lost here in the regular season since Labor Day 1992. It's the second straight year that these fans have not seen their club lose in the regular season. 9-0 last year, 9-0 this year. With the victory today,
there are some great imaginations for some pumpkin carvers out there.
Steve Taylor remains at quarterback, and there's Alan Pitts with another catch. Pushed out of bounds at the 52-yard line. That'll be a gain of 9 for Pitts.
Greg Eklund, number 13.
Pitts waggles down. Then see, look at the distance that he has as Eglin is playing off on him so far. Gives him the out, and Steve Taylor has enough time and throws the ball out a little high, but Pitts is able to bring it in.
So Alan Pitts now 46 yards shy of Terry Greer's single season mark. On the keeper, Steve Taylor will move the yardsticks.
He's across the 55 for a Stampeder first down.
I was talking with Coach Bob Vespasiani this afternoon. As we said, he's in the same room with Coach Frank Spaziani. And he talked about, Coach Bono walked in and said, ask him about losing his cool during the week. And he did. He actually went berserk. He said he went cosmic somewhere, lost his cool, was yelling at all of his players outside. And he said that all of a sudden Walker couldn't hear him. And he said, but all of a sudden he could tell by the color that Bob Vespasiani had turned that he was serious about what he meant.
Of course, Kenny Walker is deaf. What was he losing his cool about? This team has lost 3 games this year.
There was something just about the sacking, being responsible, making sure that you're disciplined, staying in your lanes. And then all of a sudden you see there is Coach Wally Bono, Vespasiani, Spaziani, and both of them are looking at pictures hanging up on the wall of Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro. What do you think?
2nd and 8, Taylor on the roll, looking for Pitts again. Stretched out, couldn't bring it in with one hand.
Alan Pitts is on his reach and incomplete.
He's the prime target now. Of course, he has been most of the season. 3:03 to go.
On behalf of Laramie Redband and the entire Stampeder Football Club on Fan Appreciation Day, we'd like to thank all the fans who are at each and every game this year. Give yourselves a big round of applause.
Greg Marshall. Jeez.
Hey, look at it this way, okay? Wasn't Turner Ward. Or Adam Graves. Of course, the man in your position shouldn't be making those mistakes.
Okay. Hey, if you give me Pitts one more time, I'll do the Cal State Fullerton weekend thing or something with Pringle. Sure, yeah, not right out. Okay, and his number of catches. What does that mean?
Officially, he's got 160.
Okay. Okay. Welcome back to Calgary. It's been a record-setting day for the Stampeders as they move towards their 14th victory of the season. 3:03 to go and a 47-10 Calgary lead. 3rd down and Tony Martino getting set to punt. Taking as much time off the clock as they can. Dave Denal was in, but Martino gets the punt away. Adrian Smith weaving across the 30 to the 33-yard line. Greg Freres with the tackle. Here's Mark.
Number 14. Chris, the Ticat training staff has just finished administering some pain medication to Reggie Slack. He took another shot in the head during that Greg Knox interception return. That's 2 in this game. They will keep him out considering the score. 2:37 left. There's no point in risking him again.
Well, after the hit by Marvin Pope, I wouldn't be surprised that he wouldn't show up again.
Hamilton, number 21, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Wally Zatilny, unnecessary roughness, and that'll back the Ticats up. We've been throwing a lot of numbers at you today just to Bring you up to date on Pitts. 106 yards today on 8 catches. He needs 45 to break Terry Greer's record. He has 121 catches on the year. Number 3 quarterback Wadlin in at the signal caller position for Hamilton, and in his first CFL play, Joe Malden is dropped behind the line of scrimmage.
Number 16, Joe
And
Malden.
at the other side, Jeff Garcia, the number 3 man for the Stampeders, may get a chance to take a couple of snaps. This is his first outing in the Canadian Football League. And Malden over the middle, and it's picked off. Greg Knox has the hat trick today, his 3rd interception. Number 10 on the year. And Mr. Malden not enjoying any more success than the 2 men who preceded him this afternoon.
Zizakovich, the defensive lineman, had come out. Knox and Fears were an extra defensive back, and Knox being the guy that played underneath the hook and the curl. Richard Nurse, the young quarterback, Joe Malden, just didn't see him and threw it right in the hands. Almost surprised the heck out of Greg Knox. 10th interception, and I believe that Les Brown got 1 interception yesterday, which gave him 11, so that would still mean that Greg Knox would be 2nd in the CFL.
They'll duel it out next week in BC. Here's Jeff Garcia in for Calgary, and he's throwing over the middle, almost picked off. Adrian Smith, the rookie, almost got it right back for Hamilton. Well, these number 3 guys aren't shy about putting it in the air anyway.
It just doesn't get any easier than that. It just hits right in through his hands, hits him in the shoulder pads as opposed to squeezing it with his hands. And he sits down there and I'll never get another one that easy.
Well, he had the right idea. He was looking for Alan Pitts. 2nd and 10, Garcia out of the shotgun. And he has a completion. Bobby Doxson with the tackle as Doug Flutie looks on, and he might be sending in some plays. That's Garcia's 2nd completion of the year. Vince Danielson with the catch. He was a little slow to get up.
2 yards to go.
Garcia did a good job of getting the ball out there because the guy that was hammering down on him was Tim Cofield. And after he let the ball go, Cofield just welcomed him into the game.
Great learning experience for Garcia to be able to just work behind the scenes on the same team as Doug Flutie for a year. And here's Garcia on the option. He'll keep it himself, and not much there on 3rd down, and I don't think he got the first.
Well, you can tell the difference that those guys out of San Jose State don't have quite the experience of running the option as a guy like Steve Taylor out of Nebraska.
So the Calgary Stampeders turn it over on downs with 1:27 to go. And Malden back in. Let's see how he responds after throwing his first CFL interception on his first CFL pass.
Now, Chris, this is a big quarterback. He's 6'2", 235, played out of Missouri Western State.
Not many quarterbacks have been in this league at 235, but he shows you a little mobility. Getting outside, directs some traffic, throws downfield, and it skips at the Calgary bench, incomplete.
Number 16, Joe Malden.
And Malden a little slow to get up.
Number 83, incomplete.
Boy, he's a load.
And he's got some pretty quick feet. Will Johnson kind of underestimated how quick his foot speed would be. Came inside and got kind of nose to nose up to him, and then as soon as that did, that gave Malden a 2-way go, and he decided to go outside and use some of that speed to get away from Johnson. But it's that old adage, I can run a whole lot faster scared than you can mad, so try to catch me.
2nd and 10. For the third string quarterback, Malden. Can't find a receiver and is under the gun, now throws deep. And it's incomplete. Out of bounds. He was looking for Kelvin Means. Dondra Owens was step for step with Means. It's 3rd down and Hamilton must punt.
Conversation there between Alan Pitts and the young quarterback, Jeff Garcia.
What Pitts is saying is, if you give me the ball and I get 45 yards, your name's going in the record book too.
Can you imagine that for a rookie, being the rookie quarterback of breaking a record that has stood for over 10 years that Terry Greer has held?
There's Brian Wiggins. Good search downfield by the Ticats, and it will be Calgary football at their 50 with exactly 1 minute to go.
47-yard kick for Paul Baldeston.
Or Alan Pitts may have been over there going, hey, youngster, you probably don't make that much. What's your favorite restaurant in this city? Maybe we can persuade you to get that ball my way just a little bit.
Tell you, there's so many records to keep track of. We missed one. Alan Pitts with 106 yards today. That's his 11th 100-yard game of the year, and that ties the record. Terry Greer did that during the 83 season of 2,003 yards. Here's Tony Stewart trying to get outside, drop the football, and it's picked up by Hassan Bailey.
Number 21, Tony Stewart.
Flag is down on the play, and Bailey's on the limp.
But there's going to be a call probably against Hassan Bailey, because I think there's going to be like interference. When the ball is loose, he pushed Tony Stewart away so that he could get the fumble, and I think the call will be something like that. Chris, you happen to mention just quickly that 1,100-yard game.
Interference on a loose ball. 35 Hamilton. 1st down Calgary.
So Calgary will retain possession.
Tony Stewart switches the hands, but just doesn't get a good hold on the ball. It falls through. Now there's the push. That's the interference that they're calling. I don't quite understand the ruling on that. I mean, I know that's that. I just don't understand the infraction, why it would be. This is a push and shoving kind of game, a physical game out there. So, what the heck, if I'd have dove on it and hit him and pushed him out while I'm trying to make an attempt to get the ball, it would have been a possession for Hamilton. But just one quick minute while we talked about that. You can see the yardage now that Alan Pitts is looking forward to. That may be the only record that he hasn't accomplished. Back to that 1,100-yard games during the season. Terry Greer did it in '83. Hal Patterson with Montreal did it in '56. And Joey Walters with Saskatchewan did it in 1981.
Bailey on the limp, but able to go to the bench under his own power, and so there'll be some things to look for next week for Alan Pitts and the Stampeders when they visit BC Place Stadium. There was a flag thrown, and we'll let Ken Lazarick explain. A lot of yapping going on in that Hamilton defensive huddle. And I'm not sure, somebody might have been ejected here. Like Lazarick's trying to get somebody's number.
Disqualification. Hamilton, number 14, for spitting on an official. 25-yard penalty. 1st down.
More than just talking, and Adrian Smith will head to the locker room.
Now, Chris, did I hear that call right? Spitting on an official. You got to give your head a shake in here. I mean, this is pro ball, but I mean, grow up.
Yeah, you can understand a little frustration at 47-10, but
absolutely, you can yell, you can scream, you can call names and do it, be as obnoxious as you may. But when it gets to that point there, I think it's very justifiable. and you know, something that the commission will look into,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I think Mr. Adrian Smith is going to meet up with Mr. Larry Smith during the next week in some form of communication and fine. Call that an inexcusable rookie mistake. All this with 53 seconds to go.
That could be the real group. I'm not sure, Chris. It could be Kiss live in concert.
Well, this is not by any stretch of the imagination one of the bigger crowds in Calgary this year, but the fans have got their money's worth. They got a big performance out of their team, a bunch of records to talk about, and some Halloween fun a day early.
And I'd have to admit, I'm disappointed it's not a better crowd. It should be. They should be here supporting their team and the guys that are out there playing and the records that were broken today.
I'll tell you, the ones that have stayed aren't too happy that Jeff Garcia just put a knee down. That's the first time today that the Stampeders have been booed.
Crossing the yard of the play.
Coach George Cortez on the left, Wally Bono in the middle, John Huffnagel on the right, offensive coordinator. But after it's done, you can only bleed so much on the other side, as Hamilton Tiger Cats are doing, and I believe this is a pretty classy move by Wally Bono. He's not going to stick the knife in any further. It's a fait to complete.
Jeff Garcia, number 7, wrapped up by Bruce Covington on the play. It is
Third down now. Doug Flutie. 5 touchdown passes last week, and he lit it up again today, and he'll add to his totals, or at least try next week against BC and his brother Darren. And Garcia wants to kill the clock, and they're just going to let it run down here.
Well, nobody's going to touch Garcia. See, he's still standing up. He hasn't taken a knee. Now it's all right. Now it's okay. Now they run the clock out.
And that is
Smart play.
Well, Wally Buono's team thoroughly redeeming itself from the loss 2 weeks ago at Iberwin Stadium. In another remarkable regular season, they have moved to 14-3. First place team in the West. Don Southern now down to a last gasp for Hamilton next week, but they'll need some help from the Shreveport Pirates, who must tie or beat Ottawa on Friday night to keep Reggie Slack's hopes of a playoff spot alive. 47-10, let's join Mark.
And I'm at center field, Chris, with Don Southern. Don, the tables turned in the rematch with Calgary. Your analysis?
Oh, well, they beat the tar out of us. You know, everything that they did. We played with them for the first half, but you know, they're a great team, and you know, we were fortunate, I think, to stay in the game that long. At home, do a lot of things good. Yeah, inadequacies that we have certainly showed today, and we got to build from there. But I'm very proud of our players. I wasn't proud of what happened at the last minute there, but I'll take care of that.
Yeah, Don, you're 4-13, but you're not done yet. You have to win your last game, and you could make the playoffs yet.
Oh yeah, I understand that, but right now, you know, we're going to have to look at our wounds and get back home and see what we can do.
All right, Don, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Don Southern, whose Tiger Cats are beaten handily 47-10 by the Stampeders here this afternoon at McMahon. We'll be back to talk with the record maker right after this. Pitts is going to wear this. Yep. Okay. Which one? For receptions, how many does he have in total? Oh, gee. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. 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 Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And what are Allen's final numbers in receptions? How many? 121? How many in total?
10 seconds. 5 seconds. Here we come.
Back at McMahon Stadium, in the aftermath of this one-sided football game, the Stampeders defeating the Hamilton Tiger Cats handily 47-10 this afternoon, and it was a record-breaking day for this man, Alan Pitts, breaking his own mark of 118 receptions in a season, and this was the record-breaking catch right here at the 40-yard line. Pitts would go on to have 8 receptions for 106 yards in this game, 11 100-yard games. An unbelievable season. Alan, what are your thoughts?
Well, you know, the season's not quite over yet, but to this point, you know, I've been very pleased with what has transpired this year. You know, I've gone out and worked hard, but you know, a lot of this goes to my teammates, the way they've gone out and worked hard and made this possible for me.
Alan, you also tied the CFL record for 20 touchdowns in a season. Let's go to the touchdown pass that came late in the second half from Doug Flutie. Take us through it.
This was a post corner. We got some man coverage on the weak side, and I was able to get a good release, and you know, Doug made a good throw out there, and I was just able to get that.
I understand that Doug has been keeping a weekly tab on your statistics. It's amazing. You are now only 45 yards away from Terry Greer's all-time record of 2003. Good luck next game.
Well, thank you very much.
Alan Pitts of the Calgary Stampeders, who win big this afternoon. The final at McMahon Stadium, 47-10 over the Hamilton Ticats. A big trick-or-treat day for the Calgary Stampeders, and so you see the situation in the East. Desperation now for Hamilton. They must win next week against Saskatchewan and hope that Ottawa loses to Shreveport to make the playoffs. In the West, though, the Stampeders are in a league of their own at 14-3, and the records still to come. One more could be broken next week with Alan Pitts going after that Terry Greer record. Next week, we are in Hamilton for that big football game against Saskatchewan next Sunday at 2 Eastern. And coming up next Saturday from Louisville, Kentucky, one of the great horse races of all time, the Breeders' Cup, live at 1 o'clock Eastern. The World Cup, the IAAF World Cup in athletics, coming your way tonight after late local news from London, England. What a day it's been here in Calgary. 2 records, and the Stampeders pad their lead atop the West. The final score, Calgary 47, Hamilton 10. And Alan Pitts now just 45 yards from an immortal record in receiving in the CFL. Thanks for watching, and so long from Calgary.
CBC Sports, home of the champions.